Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Modern Warfare 2 Veteran Difficulty video walkthrough. I thought, seeing as how this year the Call of Duty wasn't very good, I thought I'd go back to an established classic, a game that was before my time that I didn't have time to cover because I wasn't doing YouTube when this came out. A game that a lot of people remember as being very difficult and very brutal, and probably the last difficult Call of Duty conventionally, I believe. If you take away Black Ops 3's realistic mode, which I think we can all agree was pretty rough if you did it in certain ways, most of Call of Duty's campaigns have got easy over the years, and the most recent one was one of the easiest there's ever been. This, however, isn't. Modern Warfare 2, 10 years ago, 2009? Completely different genre when it comes to how the first-person shooters work. In this game, you come up against so many things that I wish didn't work the way they did, but because they do, it makes a very difficult video game. And I'm playing it on the PC. I'm going to be using an FOV mod, so I can make my FOV 90 instead of 45, even though it's 65, but it feels like you're staring through a keyhole. And what I wanted to do with this, guys, because I wanted to do this as a bit of fun, and you might notice that some of these videos have a stuttering problem. I'm having an encoder issue with OBS, and what I'm going to do, guys, is it freezes the recording for about 6 frames, and then it jumps forward, and it looks like we lost a bit of time. So, in order for it to be a little bit less jarring, because it only happens so many times when my CPU is doing something with OBS and they don't get on together for whatever reason. So, I'm going to trim out those middle parts where it freezes to make it look like it's more of a natural jump, and hopefully we won't have too many of those. And if you're watching this just from the comfort of your phone or something, you might not even notice them that much, and I'm hoping it just adds to the hectic nature of the videos, because I didn't want to re-record it again because it's a problem that I've searched into fixing and I don't know how to fix outside of making the quality look horrendous. And what it stems from is I record at a very high bitrate so that you can see these videos and I can make them look as awesome as I physically can. Now I have a better PC, but OBS has problems when it's recording such high amounts of bitrate, and they want you to turn it down to like 1000, and I'm capturing these at like 50,000 bitrate, and my PC has the spec to do this. There's no reason it shouldn't work. And I have the hard drive space for the file size. This is the standard FOV, by the way, right now. This is how the game looked when we played it on console, and will look for a lot of people who don't care about field of view. Be careful when you get off of this initial on-rails section, because there's a lot of guys on roofs, and the wall banging through that tree is not very good. But once I take him out, you're going to see the FOV swap, potentially. Once I get a moment to stand still, I'm going to change it, and there you go. See the difference? You can see a lot more of the screen and it feels a lot less claustrophobic. I can appreciate some people don't like the FOV stuff because it's a little bit fisheye lensy, but one of the things that this game does is it has something called, I think it's an independent FOV. When I aim down sights, the FOV goes back to 65, which is the standard FOV for everybody that aim down sight in this game. When I come out of it, it goes back to 90. And what this enables me to do is it enables me to, from the hip, be able to have a nice field of view to be able to see as many threats as I can. And then when I aim down sights, I don't lose any of that clarity because I'm zooming in. So the enemies aren't going to appear too small on my screen and too difficult to shoot because I'm going back to the standard FOV when I aim. And it's one of the more interesting choices. You can actually set up Modern Warfare 2019 to work this way if you want to. That was a stutter just then that you witnessed. But push forward now, guys, towards the school. Be very careful on this particular shootout. There's a long range here between you and the terrorists, and they will put you down very quickly. However, if they're focusing on your team, there are moments in Modern Warfare 2 where you don't even get shot. Because when you get shot in this game, you fucking know about it. It's ridiculous. So, a couple of things I would have loved to do with this project, but I wasn't able to do it. I looked through the console commands, I looked through trainers, I looked through cheat engines, I looked through everything. I wanted to see if I could turn off the view kick, because I don't mind that the enemies react really fast. That's what old Infinity Ward used to do. That's what new Respawn does if you play Titanfall 2. They make the AI react in a frame. I don't mind if the AI does a lot of damage. Kill me in 3 to 5 bullets, I'm okay with that. But what I can't stand is when I get shot, my flinch gets knocked so high I can't even fight back. And the whole game is like this, guys. The only reason you remember Modern Warfare for being really difficult, Modern Warfare 2 especially, or Modern Warfare, you know, COD 4, World at War, is because that, just then. Do you see what happened when I got shot? I cannot keep on target, I cannot suppress the threat, because I'm too busy chin-wagging in the sky, and it does it all the time. The only reason you die in this game, guys, is when you get focus fired, and you cannot have your gun on target. If we could turn it off, I feel like this difficulty would be nigh perfect, because you die fast, but so do they. The problem is, you can't see anything when you start getting shot, and that's the real issue. I don't know how they expected us to fight back when we're constantly getting view kicked into oblivion. And some people complain about the blood on the screen, the jam as we used to call it back in the day, because the red on the screen is really dramatic in this one. But I'm fine with it. I can adjust to shit on a screen. There's been so much shit on screens in the last 20 years of video games, it's barely noticeable. But the view kick affects gameplay, and it's too harsh. And I was looking on my travels, to try and turn it off. And if I could turn it off, guys, I would have done that, because I feel like it would just be a much more fun project. That being said, it would be a lot easier too, and a lot more fun to watch maybe, because I could be a lot more aggressive. But the problem here is, when you get close to these enemies, like, you just can't see. And the game is, you know, pretty difficult to acquire targets in as it is, because everyone's brown in this brown country, doing brown things for these brown nations, and it's like the beginning of not being able to tell who the target is, so that we can get that really awkward Captain Price line in the new game where he's on about, if you don't know the target, you are the target. But this is more like it. Good old Soap McTavish, leading his buddy Roach, his Padawan, through the cliffhanger sequence, which is... I love this segment, I really do. When I think of Modern Warfare 2, I think of this segment as I try to smack him with my axes. But be careful, guys, this game fails you for hitting your team all the time, and I do it all the time because I'm stupid and I'm impatient. This is everything that Call of Duty does gracefully, done well. At the time, it was being innovated. This is an extension of the all-gillied up concept. You are going into a territory where stealth is key in a game that's known for bombastic action sequences. And it works decently. It doesn't work as great as perhaps modern games do now, but it works to such an extent that it was a really memorable and a really fun segment. And it helps that I like snowy levels, I like icy levels, I love how Soap looks. I think with his... I forget the name of the snow boots that stick into the walls, but like all the gear on him and like that SEAL outfit that you get in the oil rig level, he looks awesome. His voice actor is Kevin McKidd, who was in Journeyman. He was also in Grey's Anatomy, if you know the actor. He's a Scottish guy, really like him. I think he did a perfect Soap, and I really like Soap as a character. He has the jump. Coming back to this 10 years later, because I only ever beat this campaign once, and it was the night that the game came out when I picked it up, because of course the sequel to Call of Duty 4 was going to be so exciting. How could you not buy it? It was really exciting days, and ironically enough, I went on to really dislike this Call of Duty as far as the multiplayer went, but the campaign I felt was really fun. The difficulty I felt was a lot easier than COD 4, and I'd not played World at War at the time, but it was considerably easier than World at War. This is the standard FOV again, guys, right now. This is 65 FOV, so you're going to see in a moment, that's 90 FOV, so a little bit of a difference. But here we go. Moving through with a heartbeat censored, blinged out ACR with suppressor and red dot, back when the red dots looked beautiful. I don't know if the Zampella and West had some kind of licensing on these red dots, because a lot of the red dots that followed in future Call of Duties did not look as graceful or as awesome as this one. So I feel like when they left the company, they took that design with them, because some of the red dots that we got afterwards were fucking ugly. And I think I'm going to make a video on optics and iron sights for Call of Duty, because I've meant to do it for some time, and it's a topic that I'm surprisingly passionate about, that perhaps most people don't even give a shit about. But here we go, pushing forward. One of the things I really love about this level is that, in spite of the fact we are listening to an NPC tell us what to do, and we are doing a stealth sequence where we're moving through a pre-scripted environment where we have to do certain activities and avoid encounters in a Call of Duty, it still allows enough flexibility for the player to have some fun with it. One of my biggest criticisms of the most recent Call of Duty is you spend more time watching that game than you do playing it, and then when you play it, it's not that interesting. You can't say that about this game. They nailed it with this. It's a beautiful balance between Michael Bay and the more tense, like Sicario going through the custom section moments, and I really appreciate that. But be careful of this truck. If you kick that truck off, everybody knows where you are. The stealth in this game is very akin to Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1, where they don't know where you are until everyone knows where you are. So you just want to be careful and use your heartbeat sensor. Another thing I like to have done in this, guys, that I wasn't able to do, is I wanted to turn on the hit markers, because I was hoping that in 10 years' time somebody would have made a way to do that with mods or with some kind of system hacking or INEI file changing, but you can't put the hit markers in this game. And to me, hit markers are so essential for when it comes to visual and auditory feedback that I struggle to play first-person shooters that don't have them, because it's the kind of thing I've come to expect, especially from Call of Duty, considering in 2012 the greatest Call of Duty ever known, which was Black Ops 2, put them in the campaign, and then every Call of Duty after that had them in the campaign up until, I think, Ghosts, and then Ghosts didn't have them because Infinity Ward are obsessed with being fucking dickheads. And they're not even Infinity Ward, let's be fair, it was fake Infinity Ward at that point. The real Infinity Ward is the people you're watching right now, and that's the reason why this campaign is so very good. But we've had them in most of the campaigns, and I've got used to them because they're helpful, and I like them, and they give you a really satisfying sense of feedback. This game doesn't have them because it was a little bit before its time, and the most recent Modern Warfare doesn't have them either, which is another reason why I hate that campaign. But if you move towards this warehouse, there's a bunch of guys on your right hand side here by the jeeps. I'm going to be cruising around and going and finding soap, and then it's all going to kick off and we get to start shooting things. I just love the idea of this mission too, and another thing that this utilises really well is the use of the air support. One of my favourite things about Call of Duty is calling in the strikes, and the strikes in this game are very satisfying. You can't say that about the new one, because they're not, They've made a Predator missile into a geriatric kite paper aeroplane missile, and it really annoys me. But here is Captain McTavish getting shit done. You're going to notice, guys, that I prioritise weapons that have red dots and weapons that have iron sights, because those are my favourite optics. I do not like holographics, I never have. I do not like ACOGs, I never have. I am very particular when it comes to what I have on my gun. And then when you come back over here, it's going to kick off. I decided to throw some grenades, but you don't have to. The slow motion coming up is enough time to kill pretty much every soldier here if you're fast on the mouse. And if you didn't realise, I am playing on mouse and keyboard. That's the reason I'm doing this walkthrough. But here we go, plan B. Detonate those explosive, boy. And then here comes the grenades in slow motion, just to put some out there. A bunch of people start dying, and then there's about 4 people you need to take out. And there you go. Now it's time to push forward. So this is one of those interesting moments where I feel like the AI isn't completely set to 999% kill the guy. Because there are times when you are running and there's lots of enemies around you and you're not getting shot. And usually in Veteran, if there's an enemy alive, he's shooting you perfectly in the face the whole time, and you're on your belly waiting to regenerate. This segment doesn't have that all the time, so there's a couple of moments here where they're giving you a grace period, and you can feel it. Because there's a lot of people around you, but because they're distracted, they don't... See that? See how fast that guy laid down, lit me up? That one guy lit me up that quickly. If they were all doing that, this would not be possible. So there's definitely some programming coming on here where there's a bunch of lines of code that are saying, every so often remind them that this is Veteran. Like, look at that. That was one bullet that put me to 1 bullet away from death. You have to respect it as well, guys. You can't bob up and start shooting them. One more shot after that and you're dead. Like, this difficulty is very punishing, but at the same time, very doable too. And I always wonder that when I come back to games. I remember this campaign being easier than COD 4, but I remember a few segments being really awkward. Speaking of really awkward, there are moments with these speeder bikes where I do not have enough mouse mat. There's a section coming up where I went to flick my mouse to track him, and I ended up hitting my keyboard, and it didn't end well for me. But I didn't die on any of these moments, which I was really surprised about, because I'm really scared to move forward in old Call of Duties, because you just get killed. But right now, I don't trust this at all. I want to shoot people, but I don't need to, because the game is saying move forward, and you can hear Soap. He's like, go Roach, you've got to go Roach. He keeps shouting at you the whole time. And then this was the first part I remembered, because when you turn around, there's a slow motion bunch of dudes. and just pick them up with the ACR and its impeccable accuracy. And then here come the beautiful snowmobiles and the stutters, which I do apologise about, ladies and gentlemen. I hope they don't, detract from the project too much. There's me trying to kill my own team. That's something that I think Infinity Ward have mastered, making video games where everybody looks like an enemy and the one time you actually shoot, it's your own team and you fail. But then we lead here to these wonderful moments on the snowmobile. And you can use your Glock on this segment if you want to. I don't think you have to shoot, but for the survivability of this sequence, it's probably best to do so. I personally, instead of picking my shots, I just hold the trigger. I'm certain most people do this, because it's one of those things where when you're focusing on at high speed to try and miss trees, I don't know how I missed that tree, guys. I thought I was dead. If you touch a tree, you die as well. But I only failed this mission twice, and it was sneaking through the camp. On these segments, I had no problem, thankfully. It was pretty fun, and it reminded me just how fun COD can be. I think this year they went 1000% into the grittiness and the realism and the war crime, but they didn't bring along any of the fun. So it felt empty to me in many ways. And this game knows exactly what it is. It has a serious tone. It has one of the most serious moments in video games with no Russian, which I think is elegantly and masterfully done. But at the same time, there's still moments like this when you feel like James Bond, And it's just so perfect. We had a slow sequence opening with the ice wall climbing, then we had a nice stealth section that had gameplay, then we had a nice bombastic shootout and some crazy chasing, and now we're on a snowmobile. This is Call of Duty, this is what it was, this is when it was great. And everybody's telling you that the new campaign is the best campaign there's ever been, and it's not fucking true. This campaign is really fun. And here we go, remember, no Russian, guys. The infamous level. The first time I played this level on launch, I didn't shoot a single person. I couldn't, because I was so into it at the time. On this video, I'm going for a high score. Because at the end of the day, it's a video game, and fuck these people. Now, I find this really interesting, because the most recent Modern Warfare is doing its best to throw atrocities in your face every 2 minutes. Every fucking level there's a kid getting stabbed by a fucking paedophile who's on fire, who has a history of violence against his mother. Every single level is fucking dead kids in rubble and FEMA camps, and it's we get it. War is horrible. Terrorists are bad people, We understand this. But do you know what's the funniest part about the whole thing? They talk about the grey side of conflict, the grey side of war, and yet they tell a completely anti-fucking Russian propaganda story. And they even go as far as to use real-world atrocities, but instead of changing America from being the villains, they make the fucking Russians the villains. So the whole thing is saying that war is ambiguous, there's no bad guys or good guys, and yet the whole game you spend playing as fucking America the good guys, killing Russia the bad guys. And I'm sorry, but it's fucking stupid. It's just narratively redundant. And it's offensive to a lot of those people who don't like that type of stuff. I just took it as incredibly lazy writing, because that's what it was. You know this level, guys? This level is perfect. At the beginning of this, you are playing essentially as a terrorist, but you're undercover. So it puts you in a really awkward situation. In order to keep your cover, you have to pretend to take part in a massacre. Do you know how crazy that is? The people that are with you say no Russian because these people are Russian. So the villains in this story are so sadistic and so evil that they do not care what they do in order to promote their cause and get what they want. It sets up the entire story for the rest of this game. It sets the tone, and you never have to see this moment again. You never have to have, here's a random awful moment for the sake of random awful moment to remind everybody who might have forgotten that this is a serious and dark and cynical game. You don't need it, because this is enough. This is everything that's needed. This justifies Russia invading America and kicking off a war on home territory. And it's perfect. Narratively, it's subtle, it's simple, but it's effective and it's evocative. Gameplay-wise, it's not the best level, because at the beginning here, if you deviate at all, they shoot you, and you fail, and there's no checkpoints here unless the game gives you checkpoints, which is kind of frustrating. One of the cool things about this is you can notice that some of the assets here were directly used in the map Terminal, so if you know Terminal, you'll be able to spot some similarities. But once you get outside and the SWAT police start attacking you, the level gets a lot more fun then, because it's a bit more free-flowing. As you've noticed, you can't actually sprint right now, which is one of the things that frustrates me a lot. But the whole part of this is this tension bubbling up into this grand procession of events. This game doesn't happen unless no Russian happens. This level was very controversial, and it was controversial because when you think about the implications of this and what it means on the story, it's a big deal. The new Modern Warfare completely fucks that up and confuses it. It's got 6-year-olds stabbing roided out Russian mercenaries like the fucking commandos. You know, it's got all these moments that it's trying to shock you and scare you with, but at the end of the day it doesn't mean anything, because they're doing it so flippantly that you get completely numb to it. No one was numb to no Russian, because it started the game, and the rest of the game you wanted to get revenge for it. Like, I just feel like that they tried so hard to make this controversial game when they'd already done it 10 years ago in a much more effective manner. And for that, I think that Modern Warfare 2 it gets so many more props now coming after Modern Warfare 2019. But if you come over here, guys, not only is there a checkpoint, but you can get on this like wagon that I'm on here that's got these boxes of suitcases and luggage. You can put some bullets down range and they do not contest you at all. If you push forward here, you can get shot if anyone's still alive, but I'm using my team as bait, and it's making this look a lot easier than it is. But trust me, the first time somebody sees me, you're going to realise that as easy as this looks, well, all it takes is one dude. One dude will light you up in this game. Fortunately, I'm going to be peeking my ass off. There we go, there it was. See that? Look at that. I am one bullet away from death after poking around a corner. It's just like Modern Warfare 2019's multiplayer, isn't it? You try to peek a corner, instantly dead. Classic Call of Duty garbage. But a couple more guys over there, a couple of riot shields. If you're having troubles with the riot shields, throw the flash grenades. It should make them fall down, then shoot their legs, shoot their arms, and put them away. If you move towards the bus now, you can get some decent cover here, but be careful. There's a lot of enemies, and if they decide to focus fire you, you will die. But I throw the flashbang, and I'm going to run for it. The running animation in this game is pretty nice. I'm a fan of it. There's Makarov pushing forward. There's the save. Once you get the save, it can give you a little bit of courage, because it means you can push forward without fear of having to redo gameplay. This game does have a problem with sometimes not checkpointing, and other times it does. Every so often it feels like the game gives you a mercy checkpoint, and those mercy checkpoints are so essential that they'll help you get through segments that you normally wouldn't get through. That was interesting. He couldn't see me, I couldn't see him. I was too busy looking everywhere else. But there you go, guys. The only thing left to do now is to run towards the van and end the mission and get the massive plot twist that sets off the rest of the game. But you're not going to see that because I'm trimming out all non-essentials, all cutscenes, all slow moments, so it's just going to transition now to Wolverines. And when I say Wolverines, I of course mean favelas, because that's not where we are. So in this segment here, guys, if you do not crouch, you will die. And I find this to be really interesting because they've given you an established mechanic there to stop yourself dying when you're in a on-rails segment or in a vehicle. Yet later on, when you're in a vehicle, they don't allow you the same luxury, which I find to be quite unusual, but they had the kernel there of an idea that could have gone on to be a really, really interesting way of taking cover, a little bit like Time Crisis, and I would have liked that a lot. But you don't really see too much of that. Anyhow, this is a chase sequence where if you shoot this guy too hard, he's going to die and you're going to fail. So you want to put him in the leg, and then it's going to transition to a torture sequence, and then it's going to transition to going through arguably one of the more difficult sequences in the game, because this place is nuts. So this is of course the favelas in Brazil, and this is just something else. If you know the map favela, and if you played the Spec Ops mission with like 9 juggernauts, you'll know this particular location quite well. The problem here is there's a lot of civilians, and if you shoot them you fail. There's a lot of dudes running around in football shirts that are kicking your ass, because they've got perfect aim and they're on every single roof. Your teammates are going to be running around with you, but you can kill them without failing, so you can actually put your teammates down pretty convincingly. And when you combine just every single angle being able to see you, every single elevation being able to attack you, the view kick, the flashbangs, like all the stuff that they're using, like I don't know if that flashbang was me, but Jesus, I could do with less of that. But this also follows the axiom of COD veteran campaigns from this generation, where if you're aggressive and you push the line and you know where you're supposed to be going, you can get where you need to be really, really effectively, and then just get a checkpoint and die and then respawn in a much better position. And a lot of early COD campaigns were like that. You just kind of pushed the line, got that checkpoint, got the breathing room, and it was just a grind from checkpoint to checkpoint. This game wasn't as bad as that, but you can certainly approach it that way. Because for a first-person shooter, you think you'd spend a lot of time shooting, right? And you actually don't really have to. You can spend a lot of time on your belly and creeping forward. But just look how quickly they shoot me, and look how much damage they do, and postulate, as I often do, is how the hell I even survived. And all these transitions here, guys, are checkpoints the game gave me, but I couldn't sync up the footage. So if you ever see a crossfade like that, it's just trying to make it make a bit more sense, because there's times when the checkpoints put you in some weird places, in some weird moments. Like the moment that just happened then, when a guy was on that roof, I died like 4 times in that checkpoint because he killed me before I realised where he was. And turning around and shooting him, that was the one time he didn't shoot me. So you just have to be real careful. That's me killing Rogue as well. That's the one of the guys on my team. But keep pushing the houses. The AK is supreme in this particular location because it's good at wall banging, very powerful, lots of bullets in its clip. And if you hated the multiplayer as much as I did, you probably didn't even lock this gun because it was the last gun you unlocked. But never ever forget, guys, this is not like Call of Duty now. If you see a wall and there's people on the other side of it, shoot through the wall. Call of Duty 4 and this game really made wallbanging mean something. They made it feel really, really good. And we've lost that in Call of Duty. The wallbanging is nowhere near the same. And it's funny because there's all these tools to do it. Light machine guns, FMJ, sniper rifles, you name it. And you just can't do it half the time. And it's really frustrating because there's nothing cooler than knowing the environment, knowing where people are going to come from, and then putting some bullets down the line and getting a hit marker, you know? I really like that idea. And COD has just totally moved away from it for whatever reason. If you don't shoot that dog there, I don't know if you can climb over the fence, but you can get grabbed by a dog here, and I don't know which dog it was, so I'm going to assume it was the one I just shot. But this is the hard part. This is the bit where things start getting a bit silly, because there's always going to be people above you, there's going to be people with RPGs, there's going to be all kinds... Don't shoot him, he's a nice man. Thankfully my aim was terrible. There's the dog that comes and jumps on you, so it wasn't the one behind. That's good to know. But all this is a fight against machines that react in a frame and view kick you into oblivion. So you want to do your best to try and get every single advantage you can, and be careful of the grenades, because they are wizards with grenades. You already know this if you played World at War. That game was the worst for that. But even in this one, there are times when it's just like, how did he even do that? And the truth is quite obvious, isn't it? If you make an AI that has really, really good accuracy, and then you make a difficulty that inflates that accuracy to a preposterous amount, you are going to get miracle grenades. That's just the way it works. See, one area where Modern Warfare would be better than this game would be in the mobility just then. So you could jump from that side area to that window and mantle in, and the new Modern Warfare would let you do that, and it would feel pretty cool, because one of the areas of that game that they nailed really well was the movement and the flexibility of verticality. However, you know, that's a game where nobody moves, so having all those options seems almost like spitting in the player's face, because the moment you move out of cover, there's 9 dudes from 9 sightlights that have all got the red dots aimed at you. But this is a particularly difficult sequence as well, because there's so many dudes just hanging around. If you have the equipment right now, you could just flash and then run for it and get the checkpoint. That's a very effective strategy. If you ever did Mile High Club, that's one of the levels that teaches you the importance of using your tools. I'm not really going to do too much of that because I like shooting in these games. One of the reasons I came back to this is because I could play it to, you know, a higher fidelity and play it with a mouse and keyboard, and it enables me to cover Call of Duty without covering the newest one in too hard of a fashion, because you might have noticed I made a walkthrough for the new COD, but I didn't commentate it, because all I would have done is tell you how much I didn't like it, and I really didn't want to do that, because I know there's a lot of people that are liking it, and as much as I thought it was really bad, it doesn't mean that other people didn't, and I don't want to be that guy that brings everybody else down. So instead I thought I'd cover a campaign that I liked, you know, which was this one. But this roof in front of us, if you mantle onto this wall that I'm staring at just then, you can jump on the wall and see those guys on the roof and shoot them. Like this, basically. This is one of those strategies that looks really goofy, but it's surprisingly effective, because they don't really expect it in as much that the AI knows where you are at all times. But I feel like the building put some kind of pathing in their way that stops them from instantly killing you. When you come up here, there's going to be lots of people pre-aiming you, so be very careful on this corner. There's a barrel in front. If you can get a grenade on it, you might be able to kill a bunch of people around it. Barrel goes up. There's a couple guys left. I'm going to be moving towards that building on the left-hand side. One of the best things you can do in this game is to get yourself into a building and lay down, basically, because you don't know if there's a threat in that room, you don't know how many rooms there are, you don't know if anybody can see you through the windows. I'm going to get seen through a window coming up here, and it's going to hit me really, really hard, and it's just because of my ignorance of the layout. You know, this is only the second time I've been through this campaign, but I was confident I could do it, because let's face it, it's not exactly, you know, impossible. That was a bad flash. That was a better flash, there we go. So, flash the door, there's a guy on the front of it, there's a guy behind. There's a guy there. There was the YY to cancel the reload. Put him down. A couple of pre-fires just in case, and then I think we're okay, because I think that's the last of the people in this building. A couple of people across from us. Put bullets on them. A couple of ways to cancel your reload, guys. Most of you already know this, and even if you don't know this, you've probably been doing it for years, because it's one of those things you do without realizing you're doing it. Don't use the MP5K, by the way. As much as I love this gun, it has a lot of recoil, and it's one of the SMGs that I just don't think is that viable against perfect aim, head-kicking, view-kicking, nightmarish bots. But the idea is simple, guys. Once you've reloaded and the gun's registered the bullets going into the gun, if you sprint, you will sprint cancel a reload. That's what a lot of people do. If you want to do the YY, which is a terminology that people talk about quite a lot, if you watch your gun's reload animation, the moments the bullet go in the gun, in the HUD, not in the animation, because they do not match up in this game, the moment it registers that your gun is full on your HUD heads-up display at the bottom right, if you press change weapon twice, which on Xbox is YY, it will do an animation that cancels the reload but keeps your gun on the screen. And if you go YY right trigger, you will shoot immediately, and you will be able to shoot about 2 to 3 seconds faster than you normally would if you let the reload play out. From there you can transition into ADSing or just hip fire, whatever you want to do. That was me surviving an RPG, that was pretty rare. But these are two staples of the series that have gone on to be in almost every Call of Duty. The problem is, I don't think the developers quite understand it as well as we do, or perhaps haven't even discovered it or something, because there are times when, for instance, in this game, you reload a gun, and you YY after the clip's gone in the gun, and it doesn't count the reload. It happens with a P90, it happens with a bunch of guns, and in Black Ops 4, a Call of Duty I was very critical of, because it was ruined, absolutely cannibalized and just sodomized and burned and crucified by microtransactions and aggressive fucking battle pass contraband garbage tier stream things. In that game, the moment the animation puts the clip, the magazine, the shell, the cartridge, whatever the hell it is, the moment that goes into that port, it's loaded, so you can cancel the animation then. You don't have to rack the bolt, you don't have to fuck about, you can do it every time. Treyarch mastered it, guys. They mastered the YY cancelling to allow the player to look at the visual information and to cancel at the right time. And then guess what? Then you play fucking Modern Warfare 2019 and they fucked it up again. Like, I just don't understand this priority on nonsense when it's not even realistic, which is the excuse that they're all using. Watch this, by the way. You see that grenade? How did that not kill me? If you're close enough to throw a grenade back on Veteran in COD, you are dead. You're dead every time. There's no way I should have survived that, and I don't know why I did. If anybody understands, maybe it's the tilted roof, maybe it's some kind of weird collision. Like, I don't get why I lived then. But here's the micro Uzi. If I could put extended mags on this gun, I would be so happy, because this is a fun gun to run around the campaign with, but it's got no bullets in it. Jesus Christ. And it leads me to an interesting topic that I'm going to be covering in another video, which is iron sights. So do you notice the iron sights on this gun are intentionally misaligned? Do you notice that? If you were to fire this gun in real life, your bullets would go a lot higher than you would want them to go, because the rear arch is not aligned with the front post. They've done that because it's fucking fun. You can actually see down the gun, you can actually see what you're doing. It's a useful iron sight. In Modern Warfare, they're perfectly aligned and you can't see fucking anything, because it's like staring through a keyhole filled with fucking Cenobites. And it's the difference between cosmetic, functional, fun, and realistic, garbage and not fun. And that's the difference between Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 2019. But this is Wolverines, guys. This is the mission I thought it was. We're going to be following Keith David. One of the things I love about this game, other than the amazing music that's happening right now, the music in this game is superb. Hans Zimmer, they really brought in some serious shit to get people's nostalgia going. But in this game, every single team you're on has a voice actor who's a movie star who you recognise, who you want to listen to. You've got Lance Henriksen shouting at you. Who doesn't want to listen to Lance Henriksen? You've got Keith David shouting at you. Who doesn't want to listen to that guy? You know? You've got Price, who's his own guy, and that's perfectly fine. You've got Kevin McKidd. So many people in this game who are talking to you. You're like, I know that guy's voice. I'm going to listen to that man. Love that shit. Really, really cool. Back when Call of Duty was fun. And speaking of fun, this is really funny. I smoke this APC like 40 times, and it doesn't work. Because they keep rolling down the hill and smoking behind the vehicle. It's really bizarre. I don't think I've ever thrown more than one smoke at this machine, ever in my life, until today. And there you go. The moment you put one in the right place, you can run past it, which is ironic, because it blows up anyway. And then be careful here, there's a bunch of Russians just waiting to get shot. And isn't it funny that the Russians in this game have got a really, really good reason for doing what they're doing. We have a really, really good reason for stopping them doing what they're doing. It's a conflict that makes sense from both sides, and it doesn't in any way make them look like they're responsible for 9 million war crimes that they're not responsible for. You know? They've just been manipulated. The war zone is grey. You know, nobody really knows what's right. I'm trying to find a gun, if you're wondering. This striker with a red dot on it is a joke, if ever I saw one. But this is the majestic Scar. Scar with the red dot with the master key on the underslung. That car's going to go up, guys. If you ever see a car on fire, always shoot it, because it's going to blow up, and if it blows up near you, it will kill you. The cars in this game are essentially just mattress-sized grenades, so always stay away from them. And I like that did you notice how the top of this gun has Infinity Ward on the bit where you calibrate the rear post? I thought that's an interesting touch. Here's the RPD though. This is one of the strongest light machine guns in the game. It's got a very, very good iron sight considering, and it kills in 2 bullets at every range in multiplayer. So yeah, enjoy that gun. And then look at this, boys. See this? This is something you cannot do in this game. I'm using a TAR with a red dot that isn't that weird Mars sight that they forced on us. And for the people who I'm confusing right now, because you might not have the same nostalgia that I do, this gun in multiplayer had a unique red dot, and it was awful. It was like staring through a fucking telescope into a kaleidoscope. It was just not good, and I never ever used it. I always used the iron sights, and the irons were okay, but they weren't as good as what this would have been. Whereas in the campaign, they have a functioning red dot for this gun, and it looks so nice. So one of the reasons I'm using it right now is just to show it off, because you couldn't do this in the multiplayer. And I never understood why. But this is a really cool mission, this one, because it's a massive food court with its car parking and everything and all the different buildings and establishments. And you're kind of running around and taking on sieges of enemies and shooting at them from an elevated position and using the tools the game gives you, like sniper rifles and smoke. And you get to call in a ton of Predator missiles. And I just want to show of hands, guys. I know the only people watching this are the people that really like my channel. I don't imagine there'll be many people here that are like, oh, I just wanted to watch some Modern Warfare 2 and I got this fast-speaking English guy playing on PC. But it would be nice if that did happen, but alas. Do you understand how a Predator missile can go from how it is in this game, 2009, to 2019, where it flies in, takes 40 minutes to start, and then is just completely underwhelming the whole time it's coming down because it's slow and it's boring? Like, how does a developer that created the Predator drone in this game create the cruise missile in the most recent one? Like, it makes no sense to me, guys. Using a Predator in this game never gets old. The only criticism I have of using it in the campaign... Oh, sorry, Thompson. See what I mean? You don't know who the target is, dude. It's just like 2019. Shot him in the face with a sniper and he took it well. Guy's a beast. By the way, guys, you want to grab the Stinger if you can. Once you've done this segment, pick up the Stinger, because you can use it later on to kill a helicopter without having to do a mission objective, which is pretty fun. And use this thermal scope, it's really strong. But the Predator missile in this game, the only criticism I have in the campaign is you can't move when you're calling it in. If you're playing the multiplayer, you can run forward while calling in a Predator and then lay down, whereas in this one, you don't really have that flexibility. you kind of just get frozen a little bit, which is unfortunate. Look at that knifing on Veteran. I never thought you could do shit like this. I always thought I would just die instantly. I was really surprised. This is interesting too because the enemies are going to pathfind up both the ladders, so if you stand near the ladders you can shoot them as they're climbing up. It's surprisingly chill for like a defending segment. And there's a segment just like this in the most recent COD, which is essentially ripping off the 13 Hours in Benghazi movie. And whereas this is fun and interesting and there's lots of stuff happening and lots of choice, that's boring, tedious and dragged out. So I suppose the greatest compliment I could give towards Modern Warfare 2019 is pretty much how it takes everything that this game did well and makes it worse. Because if it weren't for how pretty that game is and how nice some of the audio design is, would anybody be talking about it? Because I wouldn't be. Get off the roof! We get it! Come on, Keith. Jesus, I'm trying to play the game. But you notice before I came down, I picked up the Stinger. Very important, guys. Feel free to do the same. But the Scar in this game is really, really fun to use. The Scar in Modern Warfare 3 is really, really fun to use. The Scar in Black Ops 2 is really, really fun to use. And then the Scar in Modern Warfare is awful. And everybody wants it to be buffed. So this is unusual too. I was shooting at some guy then, and it hit the APC as I was doing it, and it's like, bullets cannot hurt this vehicle. Which I thought was quite interesting, as we push across this interesting location. Moving between Nate's food court, or whatever it is. We got Julian's Pizza over there, gotta get to that bad boy. Like, this is another reload that you gotta be careful Y cancelling, because if you do it too early, you just won't reload the gun. And you can die in so many ways when you don't have a fresh magazine. And this gun is especially bad because it's got, what, 20 rounds? 25 rounds? The clip on this gun is really small because it's quite powerful. So you got to be real careful. And I'm never going to use the master key because it's just not really my style. Look at that. That's the Veteran we remember. That was 2 bullets, that, guys. 2 bullets put me to that. Very scary stuff. It makes you wonder as well, doesn't it, when you're playing, like, how am I not getting murked like that all the time? And it's one of those things where my memory of this campaign is it wasn't too bad except for the favela segment and the segment in the estate. I felt like the estate was the hardest part of the game. In this walkthrough, I did the estate in one attempt. I died at the start bit, which is not the hard part. The hard part's running with Ghost to the helicopter. I remember that being awful. Look at this, guys. Look at this! Look how satisfying that was! And I get 4 more. The laptop looks sick. The whole, thermal vision looks sick. The boxes around things look sick. I completely messed that up and it gave me a little tooltip. Like, look at it. Is it nostalgia? Or did they just fuck it up? Because the cruise missile is awful. It's so bad. It doesn't even show you where armoured vehicles are. In Ground War, when armoured vehicles are the most dominant dogshit design in the game. God, I'm getting mad just thinking about it. But look at that, you see that? He was hitting me through the fucking wall, hit me through a seat. Guy's the best. And another thing here is, the guy who tells you that you get kills with the Predator is a ginger dude who was one of the chiefs in 24. He's the dude that plays like the dad character in most things. He looks a little bit like Jim Gaffigan. He's a nice guy. Or he seems like a nice guy. He plays nice guys. Like, when you're getting complimented for killing dudes using a Predator missile from the guy from 24, that's how you know you're having a good time. That looks like a resupply point as well, that one, but I don't know if it is. Anyhow, let's go back towards the mission objective. There's something to be said about having a waypoint on a game. I've been playing the new Star Wars game, and it doesn't have a waypoint, so I've been getting lost a lot. And I'm at the point with video games where I'd rather have a heads-up element that tells me where to go than ever get lost again, because I don't play games to fucking discover a path, I'm not bloody Sir Francis Drake. I just want to fucking do shit, I don't want the task of the game to be find where the game is. I want to be shown. I'm too old now. I'm too stubborn. Show me where I'm supposed to go, video game, because I'm going to turn this off and go on Pornhub, because it's more fun. Which I heard today that apparently Pornhub aren't paying out to PayPal anymore, which I think is really fucking stupid. Does it matter where your money comes from, you dirty bastards? I bet you're laundering money for fucking blue-collar criminals, but these people that work in the adult industry can't get their fucking money because you think it's inappropriate. Go suck a dick. I fucking hate PayPal. Anyway, this is Modern Warfare 2. Be very careful in this kitchen because there's a lot of dudes. Luckily, just then, he ran toward me to try to hit me with his gun, and that's the only reason I lived. The other guy on the ground was going into second chance, so be careful of last stand bitches. They're everywhere. Look at that! Look at it! How do you fight that? It's so hard to fight that with the view kick. Crazy, right? Do you know what I would love to do in this game? I would love to mod the stim from Black Ops 4 into this game, so that whenever you take damage like that, instead of just laying on the floor for as long as you can to come back into the action and being bored, if I could hit myself with a stim and get that heal, I think it would make it so much better. Because let's face it, guys, even if you're stimming, you're still doing something that stops you from doing the thing you want to do, because you have to wait until you're healed so you can engage again. But with the stim, it feels proactive, whereas when you just lay there, you just kind of feel like the game's playing you, and we don't notice it anymore because we've played so many games where we were so used to regenerating and hiding and waiting for it to happen, and a lot of people want it to go back to like health packs and stuff and different healing systems, and I can understand why, but I really think the stim is the step in the right direction, because it combines aggressive healing with kind of the regenerating concept, and it makes it feel like at all times if you do something intelligently you can be rewarded, and I like that. Because I just like the idea of taking a few hits, sliding into cover, stimming at the same time, sliding out of cover, engaging again. I love the idea of that. I think it's got such a rich flow. Watch this! 5+ confirmed kills, boys. That should have been way more. I think I get a 10+er coming up on one of them. There we go. I just love calling in that machine. It's so fun. And Modern Warfare 3 did a few good instances of it too, because you could use the Osprey gunner in that game, and it had that weird sounding chain gun, which was quite satisfying. The Predator missile in Modern Warfare 3 was perfect. I don't know why the new Modern Warfare's changed it so much, because all they've done is made it shit. Here we go. Big boy comes in. Is this it? Watch this. 10+ KIAs. Oh, that's so sick. You see what I mean though, guys? I'm not doing anything. I'm pressing one button, he's opening a laptop, I'm pressing left mouse to boost the thing, and it's coming down on some red boxes, and it feels amazing. Why is it that dropping that on those bots is more satisfying than getting that kill streak in Ground War, dropping it on a building on some fucking snipers in multiplayer against other humans? Like, I'm so upset by the new COD, it's not even funny. When I start defending Black Ops 4, you know I'm pissed off with the new COD, because Black Ops 4 was a brilliant game up to a point, considering it was like barely made and clearly was meant to be an Overwatch clone that they had to sabotage and cannibalize to even release it. And then when they did release it, all they did is sell you nostalgia and fucking already established maps and already established guns and gave you absolutely nothing new. But even then, like, the fundamental mechanics of that game are really solid. And it's satisfying. But keep defending the roof. You've got a couple guys coming towards you now. You know, one of the things I really appreciate in this game? Do you see how they're running from a distance at us, wearing black against the grey contrast of the concrete? They also get backlit so that you can see where they are. And then here is the helicopter, so if you lock onto it with the stinger that I told you to pick up, it will seem like it's not going to do anything because the chopper's not in range, and then the moment it is in range, it'll die. Because it wants you to go to the diner across the road, but if you bring the stinger, you get rid of it immediately. And there you go, we just got rid of it. And then now, swap out the stinger for this light machine gun, so that when the second helicopter turns up that they also want you to go and, you know, go into the place and get the shit for, you can just hit it with this really powerful gun. You might be wondering as well, was it hard to play this with all the stuttering? Well, there was no stuttering for me, guys. When I was playing this game was playing beautifully. This game runs at like 140 frames. I can adjust the FOV. I've got all of these things happening. I've got it running at 144 Hz, so it's got the higher refresh rate, so it feels really, really nice. It loads really quick. It looks very pretty considering it's, you know, it's a 10-year-old game. Like, when I was playing it, I couldn't really complain. The sensitivity is a little bit awkward because you can't modify it unless you go into the config files, but I got used to it pretty quickly. And then here's the second chopper that you need to put down, but the light machine guns shred these choppers. I think he's already dead. Yeah, there you go. And you didn't even have to cross the street and mess around. Easy mode, right? You could have, if they'd have let you, use the Predator missile to hit the chopper with the Pred, which is something that is absolutely beautiful about Modern Warfare 2. I will never not love that feature. But yeah, the stutters that you're seeing every so often are just conflicts in OBS when it starts to overload. And because it's overloading, it can't duplicate the frames correctly, so instead it's duplicating the same one. But now we just need to get to the Jeep, and that's another mission done, guys. There you go, Wolverines, booyah! And then it's back to Soap and the Task Force 141, right? So this is another tricky mission. All of these missions are tricky, man. I think the moral of the story is avoid Brazil at all costs, especially in Call of Duty, because it's just going to end terribly. And I'm using the G... Is it the G18 this is called? It's a Glock. It's a Glock, and it's got the automatic firing mode, but it's got a lot of recoil, and I never liked these guns, because on the multiplayer you could get 2 of them, and it just turned into cheat codes. And if you ever came up against people using dual G18s, it was just not fun. It was very Modern Warfare-y though, so I expect nothing less from this cancer of a game. But I find this gun very difficult to use, guys, and I'm going to try my best to swap it out as soon as possible. But at the moment, there's people everywhere. Look at that. Did you see him? He's in that building behind me. Did you see him? I didn't see him. There's a guy behind me hiding in a building, and he just shot me. But how the fuck are you meant to tell? Like, you're shooting me now, probably. Cool thing about this gun is it has a huge extended mag, so you've got a pretty decent magazine. But this first push is quite awkward because there's so many people. But what we're going to do is we're going to thread the needle to the left-hand side of this and get into some of the huts. There he was, he shot me then. React, Chris, react! There he is. Look at him. How the fuck did that guy not kill me? Who knows? The game works in mysterious ways. You can't even get where he is either. He's in like a special place. So something I should talk about that I haven't really mentioned. Old Call of Duties have infinite spawns. I don't know if this one does. I don't think this one does. I think this was one of the ones that was moving away from that design because a lot of people expressed a lot of frustration towards it. COD 2, infinite respawns. COD 1, infinite respawns. World at War, infinite respawns. COD 4, infinite respawns. And what this did is it forces you as a player to push forward into a situation you don't want to be in. Because if you don't, you're going to be there for the rest of your life. And it led to these moments of these realizations where you knew if you stay where you are, you lose. If you move forward, you might not lose, but you probably will anyway. And it leads you to these crazy plays where you pray you've got smoke grenades so you can run forward and do something reckless. And that was very exciting, but it was also very frustrating. And I think Modern Warfare 2 might have been the game where they tried to move away from that, because I don't see that many instances here where the enemies are so overly saturating an area if I don't push forward. And I think that this was probably the transition to eradicating that design. And I think that was a step in the right direction, but it was definitely a step in an easier direction, because the infinite spawn stuff, like some of the stuff in the old CODs was absolutely brutal. Oh, watch this, by the way. This is fucking stupid. I get stuck on Ghost's head, and because I can't shoot him because the game doesn't let you, he won't move. So I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, move, you dickhead. I'm like trying to fail, and it's just having none of it. And then for some reason I fall down. So that was nice. But that was unexpected and not welcome. But we've got the micro Uzi again. The reloads in this game feel so slow, and you feel like you're doing it all the time. If you could use sleight of hand in the campaign, it would be so sick. But we're back on the Mini Uzi, which is an SMG that I really neglected back in the day, but I've come to very much enjoy. Playing IWAX, the PC modded version of Modern Warfare 2, where there's no cheaters and the noob tubes are turned off, it really made me fall in love with this gun, especially with a suppressor on it. Suppressed Mini Uzi, and then maybe extended mags if you're feeling like you're going to get some feeds. Be very careful here, guys. This is taken directly from the favela map, so you'll recognise the street coming up, but the problem with it is there's just dudes everywhere. There's dudes everywhere. They're hitting you from every angle. It's like the average Modern Warfare 2019 map. And do you know what I can't understand? I know I'm going to be banging on Modern Warfare 2019, guys, and I'm going to try my best just to call it Modern Warfare, because I never call COD 4 Modern Warfare. I call it COD 4. Like, Modern Warfare has an Uzi in it that looks awesome, has a terrible iron sight because it's not designed correctly, and is weak as piss. This Uzi in Modern Warfare 2 was obviously overshined by things like the UMP, because the UMP was just ridiculously powerful. So people didn't realise that this Uzi was as good as it was. This was a really good gun. You could get a lot of shit done with this Uzi. It was not bad. It was a fun weapon. It was a neglected weapon, but it was a very, very functional weapon. In COD 4, the Uzi was great too. It was overshined by the P90, the 74U and the MP5, because those are the ones you saw the most. But did you see just then that bullet went through that guy's head? I slowed that down, by the way. When I first shoot at that dude on that car, my bullet goes through his face. I've no idea why. Maybe he's just that strong. That was lucky. But I was trying my best here, guys, to make my footage a bit more aggressive than the average old school veteran like walkthrough, because pushing and being aggressive on these older games is so hard to do because you just can't see. Like, you see that? How the fuck do you fight that? If it didn't view kick me, then I could have fought back. But because it's view kicking me, I can't fight back. I have to hide. And then Soap goes up there and clears it out for me, so I don't even get the justice of killing the guy who hurt me so badly. But keep on moving forward. We get to do the running segments into the next bit. And there's a couple guys spawning off the top there. I really like that spawn mechanic too. The idea of enemies having to come from a certain place. That car's going up. Need to be careful. Oof. Here we go. See if we can work the flank. Guy on the roof. Guy there. Guy there. My aim seems to be getting a little bit better in this one. It seems like I'm getting a bit more used to the sensitivity. If I could have took the sensitivity from Modern Warfare and put it into Modern Warfare 2, my aim would have looked really good. Because say what you want about that game, the mouse input in it's really nice. I've got used to it. It feels very fun. It doesn't matter, because every gunfight I get in, I fucking lose, because the guy saw me for 50 minutes before I turned up. The guy fucking had like my complete itinerary on his iPhone, and he knew exactly where I was the whole time, regardless of the fact he didn't have a UAV or anything else, and then I just got fucking instantly melted by his gun, even though when I use his gun, it doesn't melt anyone. But keep pushing forward, shooting the people that arrive on the jeeps. Your team's going to be at your right here. Be very careful of the cars. That guy threw my grenade back. That was interesting. That's cool to see. There's a couple of MP5Ks if you can pick them up if you want to. There's a UMP coming up which I'm going to definitely pick up. When I get a UMP in this game, I feel powerful. Because I know how good that gun is, and I also love that gun. It's a beautiful gun. Once again, it'd be really nice if we could get it with extended mags, but that's just not the world we live in. So right now, I knew there was a couple of guys that died there, so I was running to see if I could find a gun, because I don't have any guns. But I ended up picking up the MP5. I really feel like this is one of those guns where if you want to give yourself a tough time in multiplayer and really have to earn a kill, this is the gun you use. Because this gun has got way too much kick for what it is. It's just, compared to the COD 4's MP5, I feel like this was the punishment for how good that gun was. And if you tap fire it, it's pretty... There it was, see that? As soon as I see it. As soon as I saw that beautiful gun, here we go. Look at those irons, boys. You can actually see what you're doing. What a novelty. And by see what you're doing, it's still kind of fat and bulky in the middle of the screen, but it's, you know, it's better than a lot of them. Guys to our right, Soap's got this covered. Put that guy down. Guy from across from us, tons of people, chickens, everything. All the fun. A couple of cheeky people here as well. You want to be really careful on this corner. There's a guy always around that corner, and this time he wasn't there. Always good to see. Was it that guy? There's a guy... See him? See him? I saw him. Got to be real careful here, guys, because look at the damage they do up close. Something I've not mentioned in Veteran. The closer you are to the gun, the more damage it does, just like multiplayer. And because the enemies are so accurate and so merciless, if you're in this kind of distance with them and you're not pre-firing and putting them down, you're going to be in a real bad spot. Do you see that enemy that I didn't see just then? There's a guy on that market stall to my right who's hiding behind the counter with a red bandana on, and I didn't see him. I completely missed him, and he doesn't shoot at me. He gets killed by my team just then. But I couldn't see the forest for the trees then. I was searching so hard for targets and I didn't see him. And now we just have to get out of dodge. So we push through the houses, do our best. This is such a good game. There's so many fun moments in this. Like the sequence we're doing right now, guys, the segment that we're on where we started on this moment in the favelas. This has now been longer than pretty much any sequence in Modern Warfare in the entire game. There's perhaps only one segment in that game that's longer than this, or even close to this length of gameplay where you're in control and having a good time. And it's the level where you are going through a mansion in the dark with the night vision stuff, taking out lights and listening to people who are being held hostage. That's probably the longest level in the game, and you can do that level in about 10 minutes. Whereas this whole level has been really fun. I've been in control. There's not been any cutscenes. It's not been full of people telling me what to do, really. I've kind of been able to thread my own needle, do my own thing. I just don't understand. Like, why are people praising something where you spend most of it just listening to a dude talk, slowly walking through fucking houses with a team of people cock-blocking the stairs, and like, not playing a game, not shooting, not having fun, not being shot at? Like, look at this. I'm running through favelas with the enemy on my heels, trying to get to a helicopter to get the hell out of Dodge. It's exciting, it's interesting, and we've not done this yet. It's diverse, it's variety, it's fun, it's exciting, it feels interesting. It doesn't have anything to do with fucking Brownistan and, like, I just don't get it. Even with the stutters as well, ruining this project, which I will apologise again for. Hopefully the next time I record something I'll have figured out a workaround. And you might be thinking, Chris, well, you're recording at such a ridiculous bitrate, maybe you should turn it down. And I did try turning it down, guys. I tried 40,000 bitrate, I tried 30, I tried 20, I tried 10, I tried 7, I tried 5, I tried 3, and I tried 2. And the footage you're watching right now is me recording in a lower bitrate, and it looks like shit. You can see the difference in the compression. It's really easy to see. But this is us pushing through a pretty interesting segment now. The sky on this level is bruised. Look at that. Goodness me. Be real careful with this moment. This is one of those levels that you don't remember it for being difficult, but there's so many threats and they hurt you so quickly. Like, this is rough. And the reason I think that this is as rough as it is because it wants you to use the striker the whole time and just laser the targets and have the striker go forward and kill people. I don't really want to use the striker, but I get pissed off with that fucking message on the screen. So I'm going to use him to push forward with him, but I'm going to try my best to clear the houses myself because that's how I like to play this game. Like, I want to do stuff like this. I want to be aggressive and try and make some exciting moments happen, and I'm failing miserably, but, you know, I'm still trying. There was a P90 there, I know, I saw it. I'm trying to find it. Give me that P90. Look at this bad boy. Classic gun right here. The, is it the Belgian Bullpups? The FN P90. This is such a good gun. I'm a big fan. And one of the cool things about this gun as well is they didn't change it too much from COD 4. This is very reminiscent of the COD 4 P90. As much as I really like this gun in Modern Warfare, they changed it. Like, they changed everything, and it's not for the best. The iron sights on this P90 are fine. They've been fine forever. I like them a lot. Modern Warfare 3 zoomed them in a little bit, but it was fundamentally the same thing. The new iron sights, they're not necessarily bad. In fact, in that game, a game full of questionable iron sights, they're actually pretty good. But why did they change it when it was completely unnecessary? And I don't understand change for the sake of change when no one's asking for it. And it's the double standard of COD, isn't it? There's this impression from ignorant people that we want Call of Duty to be different. We want them to take risks. We want them to mix it up. When in reality, people have been wanting a logical sequel to Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 for forever, and we never got it. We never got it because they were too busy trying to be something they're not. And it started with the wall running when Titanfall came out, the wall running, the boost jumping, the sliding, all this shit that was never in Call of Duty and probably never should have been. They did it, they did a decent job, they did an interesting take on it a couple times. Then they got rid of it because people wanted it to go back to Classic, so it went back to World War II, but it was nothing like COD 2, which was actually fucking good, so it was nowhere near as fun until they changed it, and then it got a lot more fun. And then the new one is trying to bring it back to the modern, and it's just changing all the stuff that was good about the modern games. That right there's a sentry gun, by the way. That's the reason I put it down, if you're wondering. There's a lot of enemies here, guys. You've got to be real careful. I'm going to spend a lot of my time on my belly, because they know where you are, and it's really hard to see them sometimes. But keep pushing forward, putting some shots on people. Watch out for the vehicles too. Once again, the vehicles are the easiest way to die in segments like this. In all the suburban areas where the cars are everywhere, you got to be real careful for that. Couple guys over there. Think how much fun this would be if there was hit markers. God, the hit markers, I miss them so much. And you know what's really funny, guys? I could actually put them in. I could take the time to slowly animate them on every time I shoot a guy and add the noise, and it wouldn't be difficult to do. It would just be a massive investment of time. And if this video was going to get decent views, which it's not, I would have done that, because that's the type of thing that I like to do. When I love something and I want it to be awesome, I'm willing to take the time to make it awesome. But no one's going to watch this, so if you're watching it right now, thank you so much for being here, and I wish I could have done that for you, but it's just not viable. You know, the money that I could be making if I was streaming instead of doing that is off the charts, so... And I hate to sound so analytical and so business-like, so quintessentially DSP-like, but I have to sometimes, you know? This is a passion project enough. Who the fuck wants a walkthrough for Modern Warfare 2? Nobody cares about this game. But I just wanted to show people that COD had really good campaigns. The most recent one, the campaign ain't as good as people are telling you, dude. I feel like people haven't played a good campaign in a long time. Did these people not play Titanfall 2? Like, if you played Titanfall 2, you cannot tell me the COD campaign is really, really good. You can't. Because it's not. Be really careful here. There's two reasons. If you push up too soon, like we're doing, the tank's going to take 20 minutes to get to you, and you're going to have no cover coming through this bridge, and it's going to be nigh impossible to not take damage. And B, the tank can run you over. So if you're too far in front, the tank just runs over you and kills you instantly. In fact, you're going to listen to Keith David say, "Get out of the way!" And there's going to be a really interesting moment where I almost die. See if we can listen to it. Yeah, there you go. Look how close that was. That was something, right? I don't want to point out the fact that I'm behind a tank in a bridge and I'm still getting shot, but that happened. I do also like that the tank is called Honey Badger, which was a gun later on in Ghosts, and a gun that can be made in Modern Warfare. But follow the striker till you get the checkpoint, and then after the checkpoint we're going to be moving between the houses. This part is kind of difficult. You get hit really hard, really frequently here, by enemies that are quite hard to see, because the whole game is kind of this Bloodshot Eye version of itself due to the dramatic nature of the sky and how all the houses are these idyllic red brick buildings and all the enemies look like they're wearing red and black fatigues. He's in last stand, so don't fall for that. And I've decided to go with this light machine gun just because it sounds really unique. Very interesting sounding gun, and it's got a lot of bullets. One of the things I don't really understand about this gun is there's times when you aim and you shoot at people and it just doesn't seem to do anything. It shoots fast, it shoots a lot, but it doesn't shoot anything at times, so it's kind of weird. You'll also notice it has a very comparable iron sight to the M4, which... This is one of those unique designs for iron sights where the back of it's really hefty and big, whereas the front of it almost looks kind of small and novelty. There's me flashing the room, put that guy down, try and find anybody else. Guy to my left with an RPD, have to reload, don't do that. There's a P90, anybody else? These things reload for days, so be very, very careful when you've got light machine guns. But did you see it then? Did you see the bullets on the bottom right? The moment those bullets populated on the bottom right of the screen, I YY cancelled. And then I was able to skip the last like 5 seconds of that animation. Very important if you don't know it, but I'm assuming you already do because kind of everybody knows about it nowadays. But here we go, pushing into the next house. This is a particularly tricky house, this one. There's a checkpoint in it for good reason, because there's easy ways to die in here thanks to how quickly the enemies put you down. Like, look at this. I had to drop shot then because I just didn't know what else to do. And drop shotting is really effective in these games. Hang on, hang on. Prone blocked, prone blocked. Prone blocked before prone blocked was a message. How I survived then, I couldn't even tell you. Like, there's just moments... Ah, here we go. This is more like it. Bitch. Like, there are moments where you wonder, how is this even working? And a couple of times I was like, am I even on veteran? What is going on here? And then I checked the difficulty and I was. And then at the end of the game, I checked all the levels to see if they were all definitely beaten on veteran, and they all were. But there are moments where it's just like, why am I not being shot? I remember when I played this as a kid that I was getting smashed. And of course, by saying I was a kid, I wasn't a kid at all, but I was much younger than I am now. And then you just have to use the laser to get rid of the people on the artillery guns. Which, this is a very Call of Duty activity. You did this in COD 4 on the Warpig mission, and you do this in COD 2 all the time. You probably do it in COD 1. Like, it's so key and intrinsic to the Call of Duty campaign, taking out some kind of mounted gun. And that's the end of the mission, guys. Hopefully now it'll jump forward to the next sequence and we'll see what it's all about. I think we've got to go into a house here. I was really tempted to remove this part because there's no one to shoot. This entire sequence is without combat, but it's still technically gameplay. And this is the kind of stuff that I normally like to remove, because this is the thing that Modern Warfare did so much, and it really frustrated me. There were so many moments where you move to objectives to stand around doing nothing. Like, technically, you can shoot the guy who's going in the fridge. That counts, right? That's one person at least. I'm hunting around using this UMP with a holographic sight, which is against my nature, but the UMP's so sick I wanted to use it. And then you come over here and you touch this and it's pretty much game over. Got a chessboard and some teddy bears. You can't pick the briefcase up until it goes gold though, because that's obviously realistic. And then they're talking about the troops that we were taking on. Do you see how he reloads the UMP with that? He does this weird sweeping hand gesture to put the clip in. It's really unusual. And then here we have my favourite level of the game. The only easy day was yesterday. This is on an oil rig and we're playing as the Task Force 141, I believe. Everybody here's got these awesome black outfits on. If you played much of the multiplayer, you'll remember this outfit from sub-base level. This was one of the teams you could play as. There's me changing the FOV, so it's a little bit more to my liking. I'm using a silenced M4 with a red dot on it. You don't get any choice in this, unfortunately. If you could pick your weapon in this game, it would be so amazing. Because I'd use a different gun on every level, and I'd try to use a lot of the ones I love, but unfortunately there's no way to do that in this game. I tried the cheat engine, I tried the command console, I tried the trainers, I tried everything. I could become a god, I could fly around the fucking map, I could turn off collision, I could turn off everything, but I couldn't swap my gun for the life of me, unfortunately. And I really tried, guys, because I wanted to bring us some really exciting gameplay, if I could. Some really fun gameplay. And the guns they give you are not that bad, they just have this obsession with sticking shit on them I don't like. Like, every fucking gun has an ACOG. Like, I don't know anybody that uses ACOGs. ACOGs are for Rainbow Six Siege and nothing else. Obviously, optics are a preference, and there's probably 9 million people like, I use ACOGs. It's like, well, that's fantastic. We can't all have a functioning brain. But you get what I mean, you know. Some people like them, some people don't. I just don't like them. But you see, this mission here is kind of like the cleaning house mission from Modern Warfare. You're following your team, you're moving tactically through this area that you're trying to infiltrate, you are taking it in turns, breaching into scenarios, and then eventually it kicks off and you get into a good gunfight. This to me is what Call of Duty did so well, but they did it so much that I think people got kind of bored with it. And these slow motion breach and clear moments have become a staple of the series from this game onwards, and they were very fun. They were fun in COD 4 too. However, nowadays, in the most recent Modern Warfare, when you do these moments, you don't go into a scripted sequence where you have to practice your aim. Instead, you just go into a room and your team shoot one dude and you have to shoot the other dude, and if you don't do it, you die. Like, it's... They've taken away the cinematic nature of it and turned it into something mundane. And I don't know why everybody thinks it's so awesome and interesting when I just found it to be fucking tedious. But I always remember this balcony because this is where I used to sit when the Juggernauts were here on the Spec Ops mission. Because there was a Spec Ops mission on this particular level where you had to take on like 8 Juggernauts with light machine guns. Very difficult. But wait for Kevin McKidd to tell us what to do, and then we can detonate it. And that's when it all kicks off and we get to play some Call of Duty, baby. Lots and lots of shooting now as we use the light machine gun. There is a Dragunov we could pop on, but I've never been a big fan of the Dragunov. It's just one of those guns. It reminds me of, I think it was in COD 4, and I never liked it in COD 4, and it put a sour taste in my mouth, even though it's good in some games. Like, if you use that gun in Max Payne 3, it's absolutely monstrous. Oh, and the music starts now as well. This music's really good on this section. I wish you could hear it, and I wish I didn't have to talk over it, but just know, music right now, popping off. But just, it makes you feel awesome when you're taking everybody on. And I love how the enemies are wearing white because it enables you to see them. Like, there's nothing worse than not being able to see where the fucking enemies are. And COD has been guilty of this in a few games. The amount of times you shoot your team is ridiculous. You will never shoot your team in this level because your team is black and they're white. It makes perfect sense. It's Michael Jackson logic. But just be careful here because there's going to be a helicopter that attacks you and there's going to be a couple launchers waiting for you to take it on. If you've got a light machine gun, you can just shoot it raw and it'll go down. But I'm going to try and pepper some people from a distance. The stutters are going to try and sabotage my gameplay, but what can you do? There's me taking a bullet and healing pretty quickly. That was nice to see. A couple guys are coming through the midsection. There's a grenade coming across towards us. Gotta watch out for that one. People in second chance, people sneaking about. If you push forward too far here, you'll trigger the helicopter, so it's best to kind of thin the herd before you do that. And just listen to the awesome music, because the music loops, which is really nice. Watch your fire! I was nowhere near you, Scottish man! Dun 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 dun. Dude, look at this! The iron sight, sorry, the red dot in this game is superb. It looks beautiful. Such a nice red dot. You'll also notice that if you've not seen the early part of this video, but when I aim down sights, the FOV reverts back to its standard FOV. Look at this nonsense. Why do the bad guys use flashbangs? They know where you are at all times. You should not let them make us blind. It's so frustrating. It's like these guys have perfect aim, view kick you into the fucking Netherlands, and then you give them flashes too. Are they just born evil, the people that made this game? Ooh, that was a FAMAS. Put the FAMAS on, boy. Here we go. Look at this beautiful gun. Oh, and a UMP, and it doesn't have anything on it. If there's a naked UMP, I am going to touch its boobies. I have to. Look at this thing. 92 rounds, though. Need to be careful. That's only 3 clips. Even though technically they're not clips, and people get frustrated when you call it that, but... Blame Duke Nukem, dude. Fucking Duke Nukem is the thing that I think made that terminology popular. Like those people that get angry at you when you say shotgun shells, and then they go, well, technically they're cartridges. It's like, well, we get that, but you know what I'm on about. Were you confused by what I said? No. Then stop being so pedantic. We're all friends here. Now, fuck off. Alright, here we go. Shoot these guys. Put some bullets on them. This would be so much more satisfying if there was hit markers. Guy just over there. Put him down. Guy or two above me. Shooting through the floor. Bit of wall banging on the grates. Sit down, sir. There's just a really, really nice... You see one thing that's not aged so well. Do you see in the background how you can see that there's the skybox has got some icebergs on it and they look really blurry and low resolution? Because they're not assets that are generated by my graphics card, they're not being elevated to the level that this game is. If you were to play this on console, it's not going to look as good as this because, of course, the console's hardware is setting it to a certain parameter. When you play things on PC and they have some flexibility, you can boost them a little bit higher. So the reason that a lot of this game's assets look really nice, even though this is a 10-year-old game, is because it's using the power of more modern technology. However, the skybox is not. If the skybox was three-dimensional and generated, it might be able to be rendered at a much higher resolution and look really nice. Ooh, rare footage of the F2000. Does anybody remember this gun? This was the gun that Sam Fisher used in Splinter Cell. It was the space gun. In a lot of games this is an SMG, but in this game it was an assault rifle, and it was the worst gun in the game. In a game full of broken guns, this was by far the worst, because it actually had recoil. It actually had recoil and actually took skill to use. So, in a game of skillless, no recoil guns, who the hell uses the F2000? And I would really like to see that gun return, because I love that gun. I liked that gun in Battlefield, was it 4 that it was in? I don't recommend doing this with the FAMAS, by the way. I would recommend doing that with a single shotgun, because the burst just means that you might hit the bombs and you might hit the people. Luckily, I did neither of those things, and that's the end of the mission, and now we get to go to the section of the game that was inspired by The Rock. So, we're now swooping in on the helicopter, doing some sniping. Wait for the chopper to settle before you shoot, it just makes the shots easier. If you want to get fancy or practice your moving aim for, I don't know, Battle Royale purposes or something, then feel free to knock yourself out, but realise that if the game has no travel time on the bullets, that leading your bullets is a waste of time. And I don't mind it personally. I mind it in Ground War on Modern Warfare because I don't think that I should have to lead my bullets with an assault rifle when the snipers fucking don't. Hit scan snipers in a long range game mode is retarded, and I don't know why anybody... That's my own team, by the way, watch this. Rare footage of me shooting my own team and not failing. I really thought it would fail me for doing that, but just goes to show, if you do the tests, sometimes you're surprised. Be very careful getting off this chopper too. There's a really weird amount of enemies on some moments, and you can take instant death for no reason around here. See that? You're going to see a transition just then. I got put in a checkpoint where the moment they gave me control, I was dead 3 times in a row. So you want to be really careful by that car. I don't know what it is, I don't know who's shooting me, I don't know why it happened, but it happened. And then there's a couple guys in front of you, but the smoke's going to do the rest. Fortunately for me, I have the rifle, so I can just pop them down. I don't really like rifles usually. I'm not the biggest fan of snipers and what have you in Call of Duty, but in the campaign, on a sightline like that, completely essential. And then push forward using the tanks as cover. Couple guys up there. Feel free to try and wallbang them. Don't wallbang the sandbags. The sandbags are a waste of time, but if you wallbang the bricks, they'll be fine. The bricks will allow you to kill people. Couple guys just there. Once again, you can shoot through that surface too, so feel free to do so. This building's perhaps the best piece of cover here. Just eke your way around, peppering dudes as they come out of wherever they spawn from. And just let your team go ahead. If your team can be the bait, you can stay alive longer. Because your team can't die. You can shoot your team and fail, but they can't shoot the team and fail, which is really, really useful. Can you imagine if the team could die and it failed you? Like some Gears of War dog shit? That would be the worst. Boom. Look at that. This ain't no Sandy Ravage booster justice. This is horrible in the campaign. Don't even bother with the spaz. Terrible gun. And instead we get the AUG with the red dot. In this game, the AUG is a light machine gun variant, as opposed to the submachine gun variant in the new game. This is a very good gun. And this sightline here, if you lay down, you can look all the way down the corridor and shoot pretty much everybody that's knocking around. And they have a really tough time at this range of hitting you, because the further away from the enemy you are, the safer you are in COD. Unless it's some kind of sniper gimmick and then they kill you instantly. But enter the... Is this technically a panopticon? Because I've been looking into that concept, that philosophy of design. This idea of essential strut that overlooks all the other cells around it. Usually in a lot of panopticons, the cells are higher and they're like on the same levels, whereas on this one, the cells seem to be lower. So I wonder if it still technically is called the same thing, because isn't that a cool word, a panopticon? You don't get a chance to use that word enough, you know. There's no opportunity where you come home from work, you sit down and start eating your tea, and you're just on about, well, today at the panopticon. Like, unless you're a prison guard in some crazy gulag in Russia, that is not a conversation that we're having, and I feel like we're missing out on having such esteemed conversations. But this is the Chris Vector, named after me because I invented it. This is a submachine gun that in this game was good, but got overshined by everything else. So a lot of people like to think that this gun wasn't very good, when in reality this gun's pretty good. It's a nice gun. It looks nice, it's got decent accuracy, it's got decent irons, you can put rapid fire on it and you can get some decent mileage out of it. And it's just such a strange looking gun, isn't it? It reminds me of the laptop gun from Perfect Dark. Look, couple guys over there, peppering them, couple of stutters, because OBS fucking hates me. I was tempted to delete this project, guys, because the moment I see imperfections in projects like that, I don't want to share them. But I feel like they're intermittent enough that people will get some enjoyment from this and it won't frustrate them too much, because I'm telling you, every time it stutters, guys, I'm getting annoyed. And it's one of those things where I'm trying not to let it affect my commentary. I did a live stream the other day where the game was really annoying me because I didn't like it, and I tried my best to not come across as I wasn't having a good time, but I'm not very good at doing that. I'm not very good at lying for the purposes of the dishonesty of it. I don't know. Like, I'm actually pretty good at lying when I need to. It's just when it comes to, you know, my streams, I find it very difficult to be a fluff man and a yes man. It's one of those qualities that I just don't really have. I need to get paid more. Maybe if they gave me enough money, maybe if I got like $2.6 million from Richard Branson or something, then it'd be easier to do it. But I feel like there's no amount of money that can stop me from getting annoyed at something that should be better. And this is unusual too. I decided to just stand here with the riot shield because I know the door's the way we have to go. And the first time I did this, I was in a corner with my back to a wall and I was making sure I couldn't get touched. But I noticed that for some reason they just couldn't kill me there. I don't know why. I honestly don't. And I reckon that if you do that strategy, you might die a few times just to prove me wrong. But this was all no cuts, no edits, one attempt. I just kind of stood there and let things happen, let nature happen, and it let me live. And that's something I've not talked about, but I really need to mention. When it comes to these campaigns, guys, it isn't really about you. It's about them. If they let you live, you'll win. But if they choose not to, there's almost nothing you can do that will change the fact that you're gonna die. Because they're too accurate, they're too damaging, it's very difficult to fire back and fight back, and there's too many of them. So if they want you dead, they're gonna kill you. And there's no point getting frustrated when you play this game, there's no point getting angry when you lose, because there's nothing you could have done. Other than completely remove yourself from the firefight and stand no chance of ever moving forward and ever beating the game, you can't really do much. So when you lose, it's just like, look at that! How the fuck did I live then? How am I alive? I immediately get one framed into 99% damage, I go prone in a drop shot, and I somehow survive enough to regenerate and get the upper hand. It's not me. I'm not the best gamer in the world. I don't have the best aim. I'm not a COD Championship CWL, Adderall snorting, you know, gamer fueled up, gamer rug, gamer socks, gamer chair kind of guy. It's just not who I am. I'd lived because they let me live. And there's a COD boomer. Did you see him? That's the terminology that people love these days, isn't it? Modern Warfare 2 was ahead of its time. It was talking about COD boomers before COD boomers were even a thing. Even though technically weren't we COD boomers in this game, because that was just the terminology to describe something that already existed. Be careful on these pipes as well. There's a gunfight here. There's two guys here. For some reason, one of those guys has a tendency not to die. See what I mean? Look at this fucking nonsense. How did I miss them? I'm using a light machine gun and I'm missing them? I must have cut the perfect silhouette like from a cartoon. I don't think this is a very good light machine gun. I don't think any of the light machine guns in this game are particularly very good. From my perspective, are very good. Because, like, killing something in 2 bullets is amazing. But shooting that many rounds and feeling like you're not connecting with them is not fun. Like, this is a great example too. See that hip fire? You just... Where did those bullets even go? Crazy, right? I committed to the hipfire then because I thought I was going to die. One of the luxuries of making a walkthrough like this is I can just edit out the deaths so you don't see the stupid shit like that, but unfortunately for me, I didn't die, so you get to see the stupid shit. And then he tells me off because I'm reloading the light machine gun. He's like, not that door, this door! I'm like, shut up, dickhead, I'm reloading. And then we get another slow motion sequence here where we get to shoot some people. And this is a very long firefight that is inspired by a Michael Bay movie. So, anybody see what went wrong just then? So either that dude is David Copperfield and he caught that bullet in his teeth, or there's something wrong with the game just then. And I don't really understand any of that sequence, because I think I shot him in the face and he thinks I didn't. So, you know, 2 bullets to the head maybe? Some kind of crazy 50 Cent man. But this whole sequence here is 3 rooms in a row that have these balconies overlooking by these sniper guys with the rifles and a bunch of guys with riot shields. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up here. I'm going to use my noob tubes as best as I can. I'm going to use my grenades as best as I can. And I'm just going to try and stop people as they rush towards me. The team's going to be the big distraction. And if you die here, there's seemingly no checkpoints. So you have to do pretty much everything from the segment you just saw me start at. Which is not a problem. 3 rooms in a row that are quite close together is kind of the perfect checkpoint for me. Because this is a tough sequence. I wouldn't say that it's like really, really, really hard, but it's tricky. And that's kind of what you're looking for, you know. The whole point in video games on their harder difficulties is that they're a problem that you need to solve. And this is certainly something when it comes to being an interesting puzzle to task. But look at him! I'm not even shooting you, dude, and you're telling me to watch my fire. My bullets are nowhere near you. Come on, Mohawk, man. I'm the best player. But lots of people at a distance peeking me from the side of their shields. The riot shields in this game are pretty effective. I thought after a while you'd be able to break them, but it doesn't seem to be something that works. You just got to wait for them to expose a hand or a foot and then capitalise on shooting it. Because if you shoot either one of those limbs when they've got the shield, it will offset their balance, and then you can put them down. Lots of shooting. But moving around the right hand side, just be careful pushing up. When you push up, you're at your most vulnerable because you'll end up getting flanked. You've got plenty of resources here, so there's no real reason not to have a decent enough time with this one. You've got a lot of claymores as well. 10 claymores, which is a lot. And I'm not going to use any of them because I wasn't really messing around with the claymores. Now, if this was Modern Warfare, there'd be 50 claymores on every building, wouldn't there? A couple guys over there, riot shield guy over there. Lots of people here. Making a little bit of headway though. Can we push forward? No one on the right. Somebody's directly in front. That guy's on our team. That's confusing. So one of the guys on our team has rushed the end of the level, which you can actually do in this. When I first did this on Veteran, I rushed this entire sequence by throwing flash grenades. And I think a lot of other people did as well. But where's the fun in that, right? If I'm going to come back to a COD campaign with a superior means of aiming, I'm going to try my best to use it as much as I can. It would just have been so great if I could have used things like the ACR. The ACR is so fun to use in this game. It's just one of those quintessential guns. Look at all the grenades. Damn. Don't be afraid to throw the grenades back as well. Wow, that was a big stutter just then. Huge one. Guy just up there. Put him down. Team's moving up, but you can hear lots of people on either side. Hear a lot of shotguns. Is that a baddie? That's a baddie with a shotgun. There's a guy in last stand. That didn't kill him, by the way. And there you go. There's your checkpoint. So you can rush that hole, guys. You do not have to indulge in the firefight. I just wanted to do it because I've never done it. Which I think is a great motivation for a lot of things. There we go. Keep on following Mr. McDavish. Oh, there you go. We've got Craig Fairbrass as Ghost giving us instructions, which is not confusing at all, considering he played Gaz in the 4th game. So, I'm doing this here more so because I'm stupid than anything else. This is all scripted. And there's a familiar face. Who's soap? The classic line. So, time to get the hell out of the gulag. 90 meters to the end of the tunnel, chasing with the boys, cameras going all dynamic, classic Call of Duty moment. There's the cave-in that we expected. It's so Mickey Mouse, isn't it? That's what I like about these games when I come back to them. They're just Tom and Jerry. The whole thing about them, they're just cartoons. Cartoons that have begun to take themselves even more seriously than they did when they first started, and they took themselves pretty serious at that point as well. It's a dead end! Good old Worm. Everybody remembers Worm. That classic character. And then the cave-in happens, and then we transition to the next segment, which is going to be back to playing as Sergeant Foley, or following Sergeant Foley, sorry. And this is the one where we're on the Olympus Has Fallen level, where they're on the lawn of the White House as it's being assailed of their own accord. We play as Ramirez for this one. And you'll notice that I'm using the Beretta in this. I'm using it because it gives you the fastest movement speed. And at the beginning of this, there's going to be a lot of navigating in trenches, and we're going to be pushing as far as we can because sometimes pushing is smarter than fighting in these games, and the music is superb on this segment. Look at this, it's crazy, right? All this happening in such a short amount of time. Classic Michael Bay escalation. I always remember this level too because when we first played this, I remember my friend Aiden wasn't the biggest fan of this campaign in certain parts because he did not really like the World War II stuff because to him it was just trenches. trenches and trenches upon trenches. Obviously, it's very realistic. It's very authentic and, you know, true to the story that it comes from. Look at this head glitch, by the way. Look at this disgusting head glitch. Perfect. I haven't even discussed that for the people that don't know what that is, so I should probably talk about that and interrupt my story. So, guys, do you know how I'm stood behind a box where only the top of my gun fits over the box and everything else is blocking my view? That means that the only thing the enemies can see is the tip of my head. So it gives them the smallest profile to shoot from, and because the bullets in this game come from your forehead and not from your gun, it means that you will not shoot the cover, but you'll shoot over it. It's known as clipping, it's known as head glitching, it's known as cheating, depending on who you ask. It's one of the most prevalent features of Call of Duty's multiplayer. It's how PowerPoints were used and abused for great success. It is what you will see any good player doing almost every single time they are not actively moving between a location. But back to the story. You might have predicted where it's going. So Aiden didn't like the stuff with the trenches. To him it's just not interesting, I guess. And this is essentially a very trench-heavy level. The beginning of this level is just a ton of trenches, and it's almost like it was ripped directly from one of the older Call of Duties. So I can really understand the critique of it, because it's just not his particular interest. Like, for me, I love the urban environments. I love moving through buildings, moving through cities, moving through streets. I love moving through the familiar and the mundane, and I love the idea of it being just completely war-torn and thrown into chaos. Be careful, there's a guy on that door. You want to wallbang him through the door, and the door will open when he's dead. Just be real careful here, guys. These close encounters, tons of dudes with big guns. Like, it's all bad if you start getting hit, because you just can't fire back. Luckily, we've got a P90. We've got a whole host of close-quartered weapons we can choose. They've all got holographics on them because this game was designed by fucking glasses-needing homunculi's, and I just don't understand why anybody would use that bloody reticle, because it frustrates me. And then you'll have the people that are being like, I just can't understand why he doesn't like the holographic too much. And you know what, dude? I don't understand it either, but I just don't. It's one of those things, you know? Intrinsically, if the holographic had a normal red dot, if that red dot was on the holographic's frame, I'd like it. But because they've changed it, it just apparently triggers my autism or my neurosis or something. It triggers the ghost of a past life where I really, really did not like holographic sights. Be really careful in these buildings though, guys. You go down so quick here. Like, they wallbang and everything. You gotta be super, super careful. But use your flashbangs if you don't want to push around the corner. Bounce it off the side of the door jamb and then go in that way. It's one of the safer ways to do it. But don't be surprised if you throw a flashbang and no one reacts, because it happens a lot. There you go. Stand in front of my gun, dude. Great idea, dickhead. If you could play this fucking game solo, I would. The whole time your bloody team just standing in front of your gun. At least then you know when you see somebody you can shoot them with impunity. You don't have to worry about failing. There's another guy in a doorway. That was a YY cancel if you've not seen it in the flesh. There's the grenade on the flash. There's me running into his little cupboard where he spawned. Look at this. Enemy spawning location number 2. Guy just there. This is where the AK really shines, because the iron sights are not that obtrusive. It's got some good kick. It's got some good stopping power. It hits through walls. It's kind of the perfect weapon for a lot of these situations. Here we go. Anybody in here? Can't see anybody. Got to be real careful. I really like this level. This is a cool level. See the shadows just then? Those were not aging the best. A couple of guys across there. This is a tricky fight, this, guys. I died a few times here. This was one of the first places where I started getting really one-framed. Like, look at that. So close. Lighting is beautiful. I actually kind of like the blood on the screen on this game. It's a bit too much, and I can understand why people don't like it. But when they start making it go black and white and fucking about with, like, the blurs and stuff, I'll never understand why people want a blurry black and white screen. Like, I will take a bukkake of blood any day over being, like, one-eyed cataract zombie with no ability to see colour. I can hear somebody to my left. That's why I'm being really tentative, guy just there. Anybody? Just in case. Anybody else? Nice little photocopier there. Is he hiding behind the printer? No, he's hiding behind the wall. Some machine guns are really good at hipfire as well, obviously, so make sure you use that. A lot of people sleep on the hipfire, myself included. Did you see the javelin just then? Javelin, this is another awkward one as well. This room in here, I walked around this corner and got instantly killed. And you have to do that entire fight I just did all over again. Checkpoint here is not the best. This is why I threw so many grenades. I threw all those grenades because I didn't want to die because the checkpoint was really unkind. I'm even putting a noob tube on. Like, when do I use noob tubes, really? Quite a lot in this walkthrough, so it would happen. I'm going to wallbang him. Here we go, watch this. Sit the fuck down, you. And you'll see the objective update because he's dead. That's why wallbanging is so good. And I'm going to shoot his body because he was the guy who killed me. And you have to do that entire 5-minute section again. And it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but when you're getting view kicked into oblivion because you're trying to rush it and trying to do it too quickly, really frustrating. And then the bullets here do actually have ballistic properties to them. They have the projectile properties, so be careful. It's not hit scan, this gun. I don't know why the sniping in Ground War isn't like this, because then the people who shoot you would actually have to fucking earn it, and it wouldn't feel like a free kill from every range. But come on, nah, I have no faith that Infinity Ward even know what they're doing anymore, because they're not Infinity Ward. Infinity Ward died with this game. The team that they assembled afterwards, in the ashes of Modern Warfare 2, did a really good job at making Modern Warfare 3, and I liked it a lot. The people that made Ghosts were steadily losing their way, even though there's aspects of Ghosts I really like. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be, but it's easily one of the worst of CODs. And then the people that made Modern Warfare, the irony is a lot of people came away from Respawn just to join the team to come back to COD, and all the people who did that were the people that I don't want making COD. Like, the only guy who came from Respawn who's worth a fuck, in my opinion, is the dude who makes the maps, and the maps that he made are awful. But that guy also made some of the best maps in the series for me, so I respect his work. I just think that in that game, in the way that it plays, putting 900 windows and 900 second story floors and 900 sightlines on every fucking section does not a conducive and fun map make. Like, it isn't indicative of fun, it's indicative of a horrible playstyle that is not even remotely close to enjoyable by anybody that was previously good at COD. The only people enjoying this new one, multiplayer-wise, are people who are horrible at COD because it's tailored to people who have no ability in the fucking series, and it's so frustrating. Like, if you are good at Call of Duty and you play this new game, if you find yourself enjoying it, you have pretty much figured out the Matrix. Because the game is built to stop good players having fun. I've never played a game like it. I really haven't. And I just don't get it, because here's the thing when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, guys, right? Skill-based matchmaking exists because it gives it this illusion that they can shelter shit players from monster players. But you know what happens, guys? If you don't get shit on by better players every so often, you never notice there's a ceiling above where you are. You plateau, you stagnate, and you never get better. So if you play against people of your skill every game and your skill level is a 0.2 KD, you're going to be garbage and never get better. You need to play against people better than you. You also need to play against people worse. There needs to be a fluctuation there to show how far you've improved and to show how far you still need to go. So this illusion that skill-based matchmaking protects new players is stupid, because it gives them nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's a very good reason, if you want to get good at something, you do it under circumstances that make it more difficult or more strenuous than it normally would be, because if you never push yourself, you never move forward. And nobody plays Call of Duty to play against people who are better than them, but it happens. And it happens, and hopefully you'll learn from it, and then the next game it's a little bit different. But when every single game is people as good as you, who the fuck wants to play that? I don't want to play against people as good as me. I want to play against people that literally play like they've been hooked up to machines for their entire life and they've got no motor functions to speak of. I want to destroy the whole fucking time. And in the old games, that would pretty much happen every other game. Every so often, you'd come in a lobby with somebody who was a good player, and you'd spark up that rivalry between you and them, where you'd always lead your lobby, they'd always lead their lobby, and then at the end of it, you might even party up with them and destroy. That's what was good about Call of Duty. Every game was random. If you were a good player, pretty much every game was good. Every so often you had a bad game, and those bad games really resonated, and they made you want to be better so that you didn't have any more. That just doesn't exist now. And I just don't understand who was asking for it, because do you know anybody who wants to get smashed on Call of Duty? Do you know anybody who turns that game on so that they can get spawn trapped by kill streaks? I don't know anyone like that. Everybody I know plays Call of Duty because of that tantalizing temptation that the next possible moment's going to lead to that kill streak that turns the game around and gives you a really, really fun experience. Like, I don't know anybody that plays Call of Duty to be the fucking guy at the bottom of the leaderboard going 2-14. And that's pretty much everyone in the lobby now, because they've homogenized everybody to the extent that even really, really good players are doing averagely in this game because they're up against people just as good as them, so their skill doesn't mean anything because the people they're facing are just as capable. You can put a 5 KD player in a lobby of average KD players and he will do ridiculous things because he's so much better than everybody else in that lobby. You can put that same person in a lobby of people with 5 KDs and he can struggle to go even. It doesn't make sense. Who the fuck's doing? Who's enjoying that? Are these the same people that have got their balls in a vice that are paying some nun in leather and latex to whip them? Like, I don't get it. Anyhow, that's enough me rambling about something that you perhaps don't even care about. This is... Is this Contingency? This is an interesting map. It's another snow map. I'm a big fan of the snowy maps. You're going to be following Captain Price here in another section that's indicative of what they learned from All Gillied Up. He's going to give you instructions. You can follow his instructions. You can choose to ignore them. If you set the alarm off, you're probably going to die on Veteran because it's really difficult to make that not happen because every single enemy in the local area will know where you are, and it's just bad news bears basically. But these moments I am conflicted on, and I'm going to speak about it because I think it's interesting. So, when All Gillied Up came out, it was one of those missions that changed the way we looked at scripting and pathing in video games. It changed the way we looked at interactive storytelling and like the emergent gameplay that comes from a highly scripted segment that feels quite organic. I think, narratively, All Gillied Up is a masterclass in game design. I think from a gameplay mechanics perspective, All Gillied Up is one of the most boring levels in the history of video games. And I know that that's going to shock a few people because a lot of people think that level is the best level ever made, and I know why they think that, and I agree in many ways. However, there's a big weakness to this formula of design. It's a weakness that you can't get around, and if you have a personality like I do, it's a dead end. There's no future in this particular design method. So here's the level kicking off anyhow, so get ready to do some sprinting. I end up getting cock-blocked by some clipping, and I'm bang next to 2 APCs, but they don't kill me, because this is a scripted segment to make it seem really exciting, but it's not actually a challenging moment, and I can't help but thank them for that, because there's a lot of parts in previous CODs where you had to run a moment like that, and you would instantly get one-framed, and it wasn't very fun. But the fundamental problem with All Gillied Up is that after you've done it once, the magic of that level is gone. All Gillied Up is the mechanical equivalent of a really good twist in a really good story. Some people can enjoy a story more than once, but it's quite rare. An even rarer amount of people can enjoy a good twist more than once, but that's so rare because the twist has all of its power from your ignorance of it. The moment you know about it, the twist is still amazing, but you're not going to get the same emotional resonance to it that you got when it happened. And that's what All Gillied Up is. When I first did All Gillied Up, guys, I thought it was one of the greatest missions I've ever done. The idea of being in a ghillie suit and sneaking around as a sniper is something I'd always wanted to do. It had such a mass appeal to me, and I loved every moment of it, sneaking through the fields, listening to Macmillan, the relationship, the tension, all of it. It was perfect, a nigh perfect level. But you know, when I played it the other year, I was fucking bored the whole time. The whole time I was bored. It was like pushing a supermarket trolley around all the aisles with no payoff. Because that's intrinsically what you're doing. When you remove the stakes, the tension, and the story, all you have left is a very strict, very linear sequence of events that involve you not playing the game. That is not a level you're going to replay 5 times a day for the rest of your life because you just love it so much. You can't do that. That is the biggest flaw of the design. of All Gillied Up and of this particular type of mission, this mission right now, the mission that you're watching. This mission that's happening here, the beginning of this mission is boring as sin, because I'm following Price, he's telling me what to do. If I deviate from what he says, I'm in a firefight that's so heavily stacked against me, I'm probably not going to win. What does this sound like? It sounds like All Gillied Up, because it is. They are the same design philosophy, and it leads to a mission that is essentially a scripted dialogue and narrative experience and not a video game. Because the moment you try to do something different, the alarms go off, the aimbots come out, and you're dead instantly. Obviously, there are deviations that can be done on the easier difficulties. For instance, in All Gillied Up, you can set the alarm off, you can kill a chopper, you can get into all kinds of like scraps that happen where you end up getting into trouble. But that's not really the philosophy of the level. It happens because it's going to happen, but they want you to follow this very strict path, adhering to these very strict rules, and getting this very strict outcome. And I would argue that a level like War Pigs, where you follow a tank shooting enemies in a natural, linear, scripted fashion, is a better mechanical level than All Gillied Up. Do people talk about War Pigs memorably and say it's like a fucking amazing level and everything? No, they don't, because it's just a standard Call of Duty level. But they talk about All Gillied Up because it was such a palate cleanser, such a different type of experience, and the majority of people who love that level have only played it once. A very few amount of times. Because it's a level that simply cannot be replayed a lot of times, because there's not enough replay value there, because the entire appeal of that level is from tension and narrative. It's an exposition dump, that's all it is. It's an expositional sequence that sets up the next level. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I'm arguing this point that it's not this great mechanical thing, even though at the time it was incredibly innovative and genius. When it comes to going from every enemy on the level knows that you're a baddie and they're going to try and kill you, to here's a stealth section that's nothing like what we've done before, that's superb. But once you get past that, the idea of the mechanics of it are mundane. And right now, this level's awesome. Because it's kicking off, I'm using kill streaks, I'm running and gunning, I can do what I want, I'm not listening to people telling me who to shoot, I'm getting my ass kicked. This is what you come back to Call of Duty for. This part right here is 1,000,000 times more replayable than that beginning section because they've taken off the training wheels. The training wheels that people seemingly want to have on. And this is one of the biggest reasons I didn't like Modern Warfare 2019. Because every level felt like I had training wheels on. I felt like the moment I'd started getting a chance to fight back and have fun and play Call of Duty, there was another segment where I had to stand around, watch and listen to what an NPC had to tell me. Listen to what their instructions were, and if I did anything else, the game just said no. Like, I love that, you know, I love the whole mantra of war is grey, you don't know who the enemy is, yet the moment you shoot someone who's not an enemy, the game fucking fails you. And this game does the same thing, but at least this game doesn't have the moxie to shove it up your ass every 2 minutes about, if you don't know the target, you are the target, and all that stupid shit. And this part's actually really hard. So, if you get a checkpoint here, guys, on this particular push, this is not too bad at all. If you don't get a checkpoint, this part is really, really tricky. And I think the way to do it is the way I did it just then. When I was first trying to do this push to the submarine, I was hitting the Harrier with a Predator missile at the beginning. This time I didn't do it. I feel like if you hit the people instead, you stand a much higher chance of getting the checkpoint. So I'm intentionally going to keep the chopper alive until later on, and then I'm going to take the chopper down. But here we go. Pushing forward, the music's kicking off. This is really tricky, this sequence here. When you get to this open area, there's people that can shoot you from all kinds of different places. I got really lucky then. Dying on this corner is where you're going to die. If you don't die on this corner, you're going to get a checkpoint, you're going to be fine. If you don't get a checkpoint, it's going to be back to calling in the Predator at the beginning again. And it's a really short sequence because it's not too long, but I was here for about 15 minutes. I was getting my shit pushed in a little bit. This was easily the part of the game where I spent the longest doing it, up to this point. And I don't even remember this segment from when I first did the game. A word of warning, do not call a Predator missile in on the other side of that wall. Even though there's a wall between you and that missile, and this is a video game, it still kills you. So be very careful. I'm going for the Harrier now. He's coming down. See you later, Hind D motherfucker. But this is super fun. I really like this part of the mission. If this was the mission, I would probably have this as one of the stronger missions in the game. My only criticism of it is that it's very difficult, you know, and that's not really much of a criticism. It's just it's hard to enjoy on Veteran because you're too busy laying on your belly hoping you don't get killed by the guy you didn't see. But as far as high stakes, tension, intense gameplay, this part right now is a million times the level that All Gillied Up is. And I feel like a bit of a villain having a go at All Gillied Up when in reality that level was incredibly important for video games, and it was an amazing level at the time, and still is if you've not experienced it. It's just, I feel there's an audience of people that want to have an experience rather than the video game, and I feel like those are the people that love that mission as much as they do. Because if you want to shoot stuff, if you want to turn Call of Duty on and shoot some people and just have the core gameplay loop experience, you're not going to have that on that mission, because it's not a core gameplay loop experience. It's a very unconventional gameplay loop in that particular mission. And it's a great one, especially for the reasons that I've explained. But I'm just curious if anybody feels the same, or if anybody's had that thought as well. Because you see a lot of love for that mission, and I don't want to... That was awesome, by the way. Didn't that look like a 3D movie? The wheel of that vehicle flew past my face. That was so amazing. I am rarely blown away by emergent moments like that, but I don't know if it does that every time, because I've not played this campaign in 10 years, but I thought that was sick. That was so funny. God, this game. But before I get, you know, a million people, which I won't get because this video is going to be seen by 1,000 people tops, but I don't want to put out this idea that I don't like the All Gillied Up mission and I don't respect it, because I really do. I just feel like it's affected the other missions in a negative manner, and it's removed moments where previously we would have played, where now we're watching. And I think that that's something that has to be said, and I think it's very important as we transition into the Blackout mission, where all the power goes down because of the EMP. And there's actually nothing to do in this mission. I was quite tempted to remove it. You move around the streets, it's all spooky. This is another expositional narrative moment that's tense, but once you've played it, it loses all of its meaning and value, because you get into one gunfight and then wait for your team to get to a door and then the mission's done. That's literally this mission. There's nothing to it. It's the kind of mission that you completely forget about, and you remember it being really long and really epic and really meaningful, and then you play it and you realise it's just empty. And that door doesn't open if you knife it, guys. I've just edited out the waiting. So for anybody that's like, how did you knife that door? Unless you're, you know, media aware of what people do in these videos. Because can you believe it, guys? On one of the first walkthroughs I ever made, somebody said that when they died, they went back to the beginning of the game because they never saw me save, and they thought the game was saving automatically, when in reality I was editing out the saves. Can you believe that? I was blown away. But never underestimate humanity, I guess. We're an interesting species. But, like, do you think anybody likes this mission the best on this game? Do you think there's anybody out there that thinks, oh, this is the one for me? The mission where we walk around whispering, afraid that people are there, but no one's ever there, is my favourite mission. Because I get it, man. I do. You know, I really enjoyed a game called Firewatch, and Firewatch is a game that's built on essentially nothing. It's built on the illusion of something, and I like that a lot. I told a lie, there is a gunfight here. There's a couple of guys in this office. So I suppose there is something to this mission at least. 1 or 2 gunfights. Guys throwing a grenade, that's kind of cool. You see, it's already been redeemed, guys. Now there's a gunfight, this can easily be the favourite level for somebody, and I can appreciate it. I can't appreciate that the fucking noob tubes are rubbish in the campaign and godlike in multiplayer. What's that about? If those were the noob tubes in multiplayer, nobody'd get any kills with them. I really like using this Beretta too as well. I don't know what variant it is in this game, if it's the 92F. Or 92FS, I think. It gives you really, really good strafe speed. Oh, there you go. Look at that. He hit me jumping around a corner. He's the best. Don't mess with that guy, ladies and gentlemen. There goes the grenade. I actually quite like this firefight. I'm surprised I'd forgot about it. Using the pistol to clean them up. A couple of tires on the ground with ACOGs. It's got some interesting lighting, quite dramatic. It's tough to see though, isn't it? Pretty tricky to see these guys. There we go. Saw that one. Cleaned him up. There's our checkpoint. Now we can move forward aggressively. Do some jump shotting with a pistol. One of my criticisms of these pistols in the Modern Warfare 2 is that the iron sights on them are not the best because they're super thin and super squashed. But when you think about it, because the profile of the gun is so thin, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of use the top slide of the gun as a measuring tool to hit people. Yeah, and now when you come out here, there's a bunch of guys on this tank, and this is the end of the mission. You kill a couple guys. Did you see that just then? If you look at the hit marker tells me I got hit from behind. Did you see that? There was only 3 guys on a tank. How can I get hit from behind? Did my own team shoot me then? Because I don't get that. I didn't understand it when I was recording. There's the burning bush. Very prophetic. We got some flares. We got another guy here. There's a couple bad guys here. This is kind of cool, this part, because the darkness seems to stop them from being absolute machines of killing you instantly on Veteran, which is a good thing. Anybody else? There's a P90. Gotta do it, guys. When you see a P90, you pick it up. Visibility is quite low here, and yet still better than Modern Warfare. Street clear, boys. Oscar Mike, and I think that's the end of this sequence. I think you run into the bottom of here, and it's going to transition. Watch for movement. Yeah, it does, because you go up to a vault door, don't you? And the vault door takes 5 years to open, so I've just skipped it. And there you go, that was the level. 2 firefights in that office building, and then 1 firefight outside on the road, and that's the end of the level. That, my friends, is a quintessential Modern Warfare 2019 campaign level. You spend one half of it doing nothing, you spend the other half of it having the smallest gunfight in human history, and you can't fucking see anything. So it's definitely Modern Warfare 2019, that one. But for this section, this is kind of luck-based. All I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to lay down, get my life back, and then the moment I've got full life, I'm going to sprint along this left-hand side along the barbed wire. And if I live right now, is nothing to do with me, and everything to do with aimbot AI. Because that's what this game is. And there is a checkpoint, so now I can be a bit more aggressive. But look at this. I'm not in control right here. It's very important that you do this, though, because pushing up through the trenches and getting into all the gunfights on that side is kind of a waste of effort, in my opinion. This is way more effective. Look at that. Guy's a beast. Stun him, put him down, get in the building. And as long as you can get a checkpoint once you get in that building, you'll be okay. I like this level a lot, but it's a tough one. This is a level that, for some reason, there's long stretches of it where they don't give you a checkpoint and you can die really quickly because there's a lot of close-quartered engagements. All these buildings, be really careful. Here's the Oval Office. It really is Olympus Has Fallen, hasn't it? We just need Gerard Butler now. We need a bit of Mike Benning. There we go. Just listening to Keith David shout at me. Get the door! Get the door! Yeah, we get it, dude. Just get the door. If I could get the door, I would get the door. But I can't, because I'm the player. That was an interesting spawn. Wow. Wow. The stutters, boys. That one was impossible to remove, unfortunately, because it made the game look really weird. So I left that one in. Look at that, though. Whew. Whenever you fight at this kind of range, look at this. No penetration on the P90 through the chest of drawers. If that isn't a rip, I don't know what is. Oh, was I shooting at the wrong guy? Maybe he was behind the wrong thing. Who knows? Oh, there's Foley. He takes a bullet, and then I nearly get immediately killed by view kick. Did you see it, though, guys? How do you fight through that? I don't care if you have Shroud aim and, like, the game senses of whoever the greatest gamer in the world is. Obviously, Billy Mitchell and his disgusting mullet. But you're not getting through that scenario. You can't even see. You can't see. Your screen is shaking on a seismic level. Your screen is flashing. Everything's kicking off. You got your tap shoes on because you're epileptic. Like, what are you going to do? I just don't get it. Like, when they were programming this, I just wonder, like, did they play it? Did they think, oh, that looks really good when your screen gets knocked 6 feet up into the sky from one bullet from an AI that frames you instantly the moment you expose yourself? And admittedly, if somebody pulled the dick out on me, I'd probably be angry, but is view kick really that necessary? I'm going to try and wallbang this little presidential speaker stage as well, because I like doing things like this, but the P90 doesn't seem to be very good at wallbanging at all. But I'm going to try, you know, you never know. Just like what Rich Piana used to say, you know, you never know. Prophetic, right? There's the tube. Pump that bad boy down the range. There's a couple guys on a building behind us here at the White House. You need to be careful. See them coming down the walls? I didn't notice them on my first attempt at this section, and I ended up going to the opposite side of this area, and they shot me from behind. So, be very careful when you're near these planters. And I'm pushing my teammate here because he's clipping on me, which is another thing I can't stand about this game. I haven't really talked too much about the things that are bad about Modern Warfare 2. I've talked a lot about the things that are bad about Modern Warfare, but that's just because that game is awful. Way. But Modern Warfare 2 does have problems, and it extends more so than just the multiplayer ones that people like to mention. The biggest thing in this game is it's the collision. You can't walk through a room in this game without getting stuck on 9 pieces of fucking furniture. It's like you're some kind of, you know, depth perception challenged person trying to escape an IKEA for the full length of the game. And it makes no sense to me because, like, there's so much quality in this game, you shouldn't be getting stuck on invisible walls. And this is a problem that's persisted to this day. The geometry being larger than it appears on an invisible level is something that video games are always going to have problems with, but there's a gracefulness to it that this game just does not have. So you get stuck on everything in this game. It's horrendous. The collision on the objects, the collision on the teammates, this collision on everything, dude. It wouldn't surprise me if there was collision on bullets. It really wouldn't. This is cool though, the music kicks up now and you're rushing through the building to try and get to the flares. This is a really fun segment. Another issue this game always had was target acquisition problems. It can be very difficult sometimes to see the enemies. The environments are very cluttered, the lighting is very dramatic, a lot of things can blend together. That's one of those things that's just... Infinity Ward always did it like that. That's why the favela levels are so fun, because all the guys are running around in brightly coloured football shirts, so you have no excuse not to see them. Whereas when you're grey and they're grey and the world's grey, it's like, who do you shoot? And there's the flares, guys. Look at that beautiful panoramic vista. And then we transition to the bouncing Betty that you have to lay down. And then this might be the inspiration for the ADSing speeds and the effects on Modern Warfare. Look at this. It's like I'm playing Modern Warfare 2019 right now. This is practically multiplayer gameplay. Look at this. Isn't this exactly like what happens when you shoot your gun on Modern Warfare? The whole screen shakes, flashes, blurs, goes greys, and makes you want to shoot yourself. Quintessential 2019 Call of Duty right there. This game was so pretentious. But this is the ACR, and even though it's got the holographic on it, which I can't stand, beautiful gun. Funny story too, that's not even remotely funny, so I don't know why I said that. I never liked the ACR on console. Never did. It was one of those guns that everybody swore by, everybody said it was great, everybody said it was fantastic, and I picked it up and it was fucking awful. The gun just didn't work for me. And my internet was so bad, it took like 12 bullets from an ACR to kill someone, and I always felt like it was just a horrible gun. The only reason I could think of that people liked it was that it had no recoil, and no recoil is obviously a really strong thing. Then I used this gun on PC, on dedicated servers, on 25 ping, and that's when I realised, now I understand why everybody loves this gun. Because this gun, guys, on a connection that works, is a beautiful thing. Be careful here, there's two jeeps at the back that are going to do like a weird pull-up thing, and a bunch of guys are going to get out of them, so I threw a bunch of grenades to try and stop them, and I don't think it did anything. Fortunately for me, the ACR is god tier, and if I could use this for every single level, I probably would. Ooh, look at that! F2000 with red dot, rare footage of F2000, boys and girls. Why is the F2000 so bad? It makes no sense. What a beautiful gun. Here we go. What have we got? One guy there, one guy there, one guy there, one guy there. Anybody else? He didn't die! Jesus, I must have winged him. Terrible. I really like this level. It's a tough one, though. Oh my god, this guy. Watch this. Oh, he didn't do it. So, that guy, did you see how I ran and I jumped out around the corner and I immediately shot into him? The time I tried that before that one, he killed me in mid-air. He killed me in like 12 frames. I know I like to say getting one framed because it's an exaggeration of dying really quickly. I measured the fucking frames, guys. The guy reacted, shot me, and killed me before I'd even fully gone down my sights. It was so bizarre. And then when you were down your sights, like, the view kick would have meant that I couldn't kill him anyway. But I've never been killed as fast as that guy killed me on this particular recording session. I recorded this campaign in 2 sessions. I think it was about 4 or 5 hours of footage. The cool thing about this game is you can skip the cutscenes. There's a lot of old Call of Duties where things like that can be difficult to skip because they do a lot of it in engine. Like, when I recorded Modern Warfare, for instance, most of the narrative of that game is told in engine and it's unskippable. So you sit there bored out your fucking tits the whole time, hating the game like I did. Whereas in this game, a lot of the exposition is done via that motion graphics map and, you know, all the people talking about Oscar Mikes and Charlie this and Delta that. That was lucky. That could have ended really quickly. Some nice monitors in this house as well. And for the people that are familiar with this game, you'll know that this is one of the assets that went into the multiplayer. One of the things that Infinity Ward really like to do, they like to repurpose assets from single player into multiplayer. And I don't know if they do that for time and for money, if there's something like that, like there's some kind of setup that they've always kind of done. I don't know if they design the environments in the single player with multiplayer in mind, so it's kind of like 2 birds, 1 stone. I don't actually fully understand the reasoning behind it, because they do it in the new game. There are parts of Modern Warfare's campaign that you can directly see the references into the finished game. And I can't tell if it's lazy or ingenious. What do you think? Like, it's one of those things where, for me, in my mind, you design your single player in a very specific way, and you design your multiplayer in a very specific way. But Infinity Ward have proven time and time again that, like, you can play parts of COD 4, and you're in COD 4's maps. You can see the maps. You can see the same geometry, the same assets. You know, it's kind of like how Blackout works, where you see all the multiplayer maps inside of Blackout, and it's got that nostalgia to it. If you've played multiplayer for long enough, you spot the design, you spot the features. Much like when I was watching Apex. I watched Apex a little bit. I was seeing assets from Titanfall 2's level design inside the world of Apex. I could see a corridor and a set of doors that was ripped directly from Eden on Titanfall 2. They were exactly the same. And if you've played those maps for long enough, you spot these details. And it's one of those things where, like, the bad guy in me wants to say it's lazy, it's just repurposing assets, it's cutting corners, it's saving cost, it's less work, easy profit, right? It's the Black Ops 4, we will sell you nostalgia because we didn't make a fucking game kind of approach. But on the other side, maybe it enables them to have the time to do other things. You know, it can be easy to be critical. But on this segment here, the team are going to tell you where the hostiles are coming from, and right now they're coming in from the southeast. I'm running around the house because I'm contemplating placing some claymores. What I want to do on this particular sequence, because I know it's quite a taxing one, is I want to hold this main room from 2 positions if I can. One of them is the kitchen. The kitchenette area is one of the strongest positions to be because you can see the open door at the front of the house and you can see the side door where they come up the stairs. Those are the 2 areas people are going to get you from. So if you can look at both of those with a piece of cover, it's arguably the best place to stand to have 2 vantage points of advantage. And a lot of people like to come through this front door, so at the beginning here, before we get a checkpoint, I'm going to use this front door as a funnel to kill as many soldiers as I can. You can hit them in the fields as they get closer, but I always felt like I was just getting view kicked a lot and I wasn't really being that effective. By letting them come to me, it gives you a secondary advantage as well, because they will focus the technology and shoot at the device that we're protecting. However, while they do that, they're not looking at us, and if they're not looking at you, they're not going to view kick you into oblivion, so you're going to get the advantage to shoot them appropriately. And right now, I'm just doing what I can with the ACR to put some damage on them. Moving through this little kitchenette area. But this is where I want to stand. I want to stand at the back of here, where this room is behind me. Because there's a panel of wall that you can use as protection, and then you can look down both lanes. And we have a soldier with us, and we just have this doorway on the right where they keep coming up through on the staircase. And this is the slowest internet in the world. The internet is almost as good as my internet when I was playing Modern Warfare 2 when it launched. But look at that, dude. And have you noticed, you know when you get shot and it flashes and it kicks, it makes you hesitate. When I watch my gameplay back, I'm like, why didn't I fire quicker? And it's all of these things that happen. It's like this, your brain's getting shocked and you're hesitating and your synapses aren't firing as they would because they've interrupted the process, or something that's far smarter than I'll ever be to understand why that works that way. But like, there's a lot to be said here for pre-firing, guys. So I would recommend trying to pre-fire as much as you can. The reason I don't pre-fire too much is because you reload so much in this game and I start getting really pissed off. Like, there's times in this game when I notice I'm reloading all the time and I spend more time reloading than I do anything else, and it's a frustrating feeling. But right now, look at them. Absolutely just smashing the computer. This is the only opportunity I have to stop them as well. I've got to be aggressive here or I'm just going to get killed. If they break the computer, you will fail. So, I don't know how I didn't hit him with one bullet then. I don't know where the light machine gun bullets go. It doesn't make any sense. But just hold that trigger and pray. It's fun though, this. As much as it can be tricky, and I remember this segment being kind of tough. Not so much this segment, but the segment after this I found really difficult in my first attempt. People are going to think that I'm cheating when they see what happens on this one, because I don't even think I get shot. And I remember being there for like 40 minutes when I was younger. I remember running in that field with no cover and people behind me. I remember the whole thing being a goddamn nightmare. And I don't know if they changed it on PC. I don't know if there's a difference between the two variations of the game. Who knows? Maybe there's version differences and this version's way easier. I would believe it, because it fucking felt easier. But I don't know if it felt easier because A, I'm a better player, B, I'm using better tools, and C, the game looks a lot better than it did, you know? Like, I've got so much more information and such a better setup on this particular attempt than... Because I was playing on a huge TV with 9 weeks worth of input delay. Like, you had to send a carrier pigeon to change the fucking channel. My TV's so old. But here we go, guys. 15 seconds and we've done it. Then you get your checkpoint, and then you get to do the hardest part of the game, I used to think. And then on this I did it one attempt and got really confused. And had to double check the difficulty to make sure I wasn't on, like, fucking recruit. But right here, I'm putting pressure because I know I'm close to getting the objective, and I think when you pick it up you get a checkpoint. No, you get a checkpoint before, so that's good to know. So, now we've got the tool, we need to get to the landing zone. I'm running over the weapons there to try and put some bullets in my gun. Get another one of those awful stutters. And then here we go. So, there's going to be a ton of dudes running towards this open field. So I'm going to pick off a few of them at the beginning here. And then once I've picked off a decent number, I'm just going to run. I don't do anything fancy, guys. I zigzag a little bit. I'm not, like, jumping and crouching and proning or anything ridiculous. There's no bunny hopping. There's no smoke. There's no flash. And do you know one of the things you might have forgot about this game? It does not have unlimited sprint. So right now, my guy is out of sprint. And he will not sprint for the full duration until I let it regenerate. But look at this. Look at this. Technically, I got shot once just then, so that counts. Look at it. Dude, I remember this being an absolute nightmare. Like, when I think of Modern Warfare 2, I think of this section, and I think of how hard it was. And I've been shot twice. I don't know if this is the God Run. I don't know if this is what Providence looks like, but I had some luck for once, and that mission was easy. And I don't know why, but there you go. And then this level, this is one of my favourite levels in the game. It's the enemy of my enemy. This is one of the most interesting sequences in Call of Duty history, in my opinion. Not only do you have a wonderfully creative and interesting encounter to fight in, which is this plain graveyard, but you also have two factions fighting each other, and you're in the middle of it. So this whole segment feels like you're completely outnumbered, but at the same time, you are stalking them. So it's this wonderful combination of powerhouses And there's a lot of good guns in this mission too. You can get some ACRs and some fun stuff. The checkpoints are very generous, and the whole segment has got great music, so this is such a cool segment. I really like this one. And the music that's playing on this level is called Code of Conduct, which was the music I play on my stream a lot. It's a song I play all the time in various different projects that I've done. It's just such a good song, and it loops right now as we're using this silenced MP5, which, funnily enough, with the red dot on this MP5, it doesn't feel like it kicks quite as much as it does with the iron sight. I don't know if it makes it actually better. It's such an interesting thing when you use mouse and keyboard after being a controller player for so long, because you feel everything, and you control everything. There are times when you can make guns look like they have no recoil at all, because you can just counter it by alternating directions and things, and stuff like that. When it comes to being on controller, you can definitely do those things, but not to the same extent. And it all stems from the aim assist. Aim assist in this game is probably the best it's been for fairness, I think, in Call of Duty. I feel like the aim assist in Modern Warfare 2 days was good enough to make people competitive, but it didn't play the game for you. Look at this! How am I alive? Nobody knows. Jesus. Such a crazy level. So fun to play. I had more fun dying on this mission than I did beating the entirety of the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign. Because this, to me, is Call of Duty. It's intense, it's fun, it's got great music, the set piece is just timeless, and I just didn't feel any of that on the new one. Is that bad, that chopper? If that's good, I'm in trouble, right? Toughest chopper in the history of choppers, though, Jesus. Check your six, check both your sides. Nikolai's giving us some advice. There's the Angel of Death. The flares on the AC-130. God, that looks so sick. What an iconic vision. Classic Price shouting at Nikolai. Lots of people to shoot here. You'll also notice, guys, I forgot to change the FOV for this mission, I think. So the FOV's a lot more zoomed in than it was on some of the other ones. And look at that texture. Oof, that's a rough one. Getting tagged. But yeah, the aim assist in this one I felt was a very skillful amount of aim assist. It lets you feel like you're really good on controller, and on the more recent CODs, the fucking aim assist is off the chart. There's some videos you can watch, guys, you won't even believe. People sliding in front of people's guns at full speed, and they just track them perfectly without touching the fucking controller. Like, why does it work like that? Whenever I've played games, folks, the one thing I've always tried to adhere to is to be better than I was the day before. I've always wanted to improve. I've always wanted to be faster, to be better, to be stronger. I want my reflexes to be sharper. I want my tracking to be better. I want the level of fidelity that I play with and what I show on my videos to be at a level that I'm pleased with, but still not happy or satisfied with, because there's more to learn. And I've always been like that. No matter what gameplay you watch, be it my early stuff, be it my more recent stuff, I always tried to do what I could to have that next level of advantage. You know, I bought the expensive peripheries to see if they made a difference in my skill and my ability. I tried out the stuff that people recommended to see if I could get a bit of an edge. I kept the stuff that worked and ditched the stuff that didn't. I play on max sensitivity on controller, and I did so since Gears of War 1, and even if the sensitivity was insanely high and really difficult to control, I put in the time to control it and to get my level of aim to a certain amount that I felt proud of and felt like I was very functional and very lethal, and I took a lot of pride in it. I mean, my controller aim now is probably fucking awful, because I've not touched one in a long time, and I've took all of those thoughts and all of those mentalities and I've just directed them in at mouse and keyboard, and it's like a new adventure, it's a new thing to learn, and it's really, really fun because I'm not good at it. And things that you're not good at, you either stop doing it or you invest the time to get better and feel the improvement and enjoy the journey and the struggle and the strive. But when you have something like aim assist doing all the fucking work, like it's... I don't know why people are so defensive over aim assist. You know, I was a console gamer for a very long time, and even then, you know, I fully accepted that like 90% of the work on some of those games was being done by the computer, especially in a game like this, because I'm not talking about that when you hold left trigger and it fucking cheats. You know, that left trigger, right trigger thing that this game shows in the tutorial, like, now shoot the targets, and it does it for you. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about that level of tracking and adhesion and the vacuum that you get when you put it on people. Like, you're not even playing a game at that point. It's crazy to me. And some of the best difficulties I've played on controller were the ones that turned it off. They turned aim assist off, and everything that happened next was you. And there's times when you feel way better without it on too. Like, if you're good on controller, I think you can be good on controller regardless. I just think when everyone else has that, you need to have that too, because it's not a fair playing field then. This is a cool mission too. I like this one a lot. This one's got a really stark and really grim colour palette, but it completely fits the moment in the story. And you get to use the intervention, which is a really cool gun. Not a big fan of snipers, but I did like this gun a lot. But isn't it interesting that controller has had aimbot since pretty much the inception of controllers, and everybody's okay with it. We've accepted that aiming with a controller is difficult, and the easiest way to make it accessible as possible is to put in a program that literally aims for you. And everyone's just like, yep, that's just how it works, that's just how it's always been, I don't see the problem. Isn't it strange? You do that in any other thing, and you get mocked, or you get attacked, or you get shamed, or you get banned. Like, if you go bowling, and you use the barriers, you will get absolutely destroyed by your friends if they don't use the barriers. Because if you use the barriers, you're a bitch, right? You're a little kid. That's for children. That's for people who don't have any kind of bowling skills at all, or for people who are drunk or something. And I've bowled with both the barriers and no barriers, and I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. I don't personally like the barriers, because sometimes they get in the way of doing very specific things. But it's like that, isn't it? It's like people who have Velcro shoes. What's the matter? Can't you tie your fucking laces? Well, no, I just thought they looked cool. But you've got Velcro on. Yeah, because they look cool. But I bet you can't tie your laces. Well, fuck you. You know, it's that weird thing of, like, if you have Velcro, you're a bitch. Why? Who knows? It's a weird thing. Same with training wheels on motorcycles or on bikes. Like, not that you can get training wheels on motorcycles, can you? You probably can, who knows? It's a strange world. But if you have a bike, and you have stabilizers, we call them stabilizers, but they're training wheels. You have stabilizers on your bike, and you're older than, like, 2, you're gonna get destroyed. Even though everybody needs stabilizers a little bit, don't they? But it's just so fascinating, isn't it? There's all these different things. If you were to do it, it wouldn't fly. But it's completely agreed upon, and no one challenges it. It's so weird. I guess I've never really thought about that too much. Be careful here, guys. If you kick this off, this is really hard to survive in this area. The good news is every single one of these guys is using an ACR, so you're going to be able to get one with an attachment that you like for once, instead of getting one that's got so many attachments on it. It's like that microwave gun from Beverly Hills Cop 3. But keep on listening to the instructions. And the reason I like this level a lot is because it adheres to that gillied up mentality of following Price through quite a quiet, tense moment. But when it kicks off, you can play this level like a normal shooter. The problem being is, on Veteran, you're going to get absolutely melted because there's just too many threats. You can shoot this guy too. He does that a lot. When you do something, when Price is scripted to do something, and you conflict with the scripting, he gets a bit snarky with you. But this is when it kicks off. This is when people are going to start knowing where you are. This is when you're going to have to start fighting back. The enemies in this cave have got incredible accuracy. I don't know what's different. I don't know if it's just because the godly ACR is that good. But you're going to see damage from these guns way higher than some of the other guns that you've come across. So just be really careful and use your flashbangs. Try to do it with a full clip so you don't spend more time reloading than I did, because the reloading is really frustrating. But this is a satisfying gun to use. But did you know, guys, that there are people on console this moment right now are using certain softwares and certain attachments that will give them even more aim assist than the game is intentionally meant to give them. They're using attachments that are essentially neutralizing all recoil on their guns and making that sticky aim assist that I've been talking about even stronger. Did you know that? Right now, people are using that. People are designing scripts that make that even worse than it already is. Like, you can even plug in mouse and keyboard and get aim assist. Aim assist on mouse and keyboard. Can you believe that? People do that. People do it a lot. You can even use that same software to put a mouse on PC, so get native dynamic mouse on PC with aim assist as well. By the way, guys, if you kill these people that are ascending down the lines, you can then kill these guys as they run across and kill pretty much everybody in this opening encounter really quickly. This is quite risky to do, because if they start shooting you, you're going to die. But if you're quick enough and if you're accurate enough, you can put them all down, and it's a really fun, aggressive strategy. And then you get a checkpoint when the last guy dies, and now you can go around and pick up some ammo and do what needs to be done. But the amount of stuff that people do to get around playing, I'm not necessarily going to say fairly, but playing the same game everybody else is playing it's kind of funny, isn't it? We do so many things to try and get these advantages, but that type of an advantage, I don't really understand using it like that. Like, I used to have a problem with the idea of mouse and keyboard on console, because I thought that it was just objectively a better controller scheme, and it is, if you don't consider aim assist. Mouse and keyboard versus controller with no aim assist, mouse and keyboard wins every day. It's nigh unfair. I would never advocate it, because I just don't think it's a remotely close to being an even playing field. But when you introduce aim assist, it's different. Aim assist means that if you get on target, you win. And sometimes, no matter how fast you are on mouse and keyboard, you're not going to get on target first. It's just how it works. So when I experienced it myself, my opinion changed on my stance on that. But then when I see these people using aim assist with mouse and keyboard, what type of player does that? Because you can turn it off. And every time I've used mouse and keyboard on console, I've turned off aim assist, because as much as people think mouse and keyboard is scummy, and I understand why they do, it's scummy enough just doing it, right? But doing it with aim assist? Come on now, who does that? That's the worst. And yet, there are more people that do that than turn it off, which is the sad part. And then to do it on PC, because if you're wondering, guys, the difference between mouse and keyboard on console and mouse and keyboard on PC is when you plug it into a console, it's emulated. It's not native, which means the muscle memory, the positioning and the feel of the mouse is completely different to what it is on PC. If you're Shroud on PC, if you use a mouse and keyboard on console, Shroud's aim is not going to be 1/50th as good as it was on PC, because all that muscle memory that makes him a good player is different and wrong. You have to swipe so much further, there's input delay, there's a complete disconnect between your brain and your hand. You can learn it and you can get better at it, but it's still not there. It's nowhere near there. It's not even close. Which is one of the reasons why I don't really understand too many people buying insanely expensive things to do it. Like, you know, this idea of picking up a Zim and going on Battlefield and shitting on everybody? Which you probably could do, but not the way that I think people think it's going to happen. This is a really cool segment as well. I like this part a lot. Because I was playing Black Ops 4 with emulated mouse and keyboard on console, because one of my subscribers gifted it to me, which was really kind of him, but I had no intentions of playing the game because I was really burned out on Call of Duty. And in that game, the mouse and keyboard didn't feel too bad. It was obviously delayed and it wasn't the sensitivity that I wanted, but I was able to play zombies and have a good time, and I would have advocated it if people prefer mouse and keyboard for that, because it's pretty fun. And then a friend of mine known as Hobo asked me to play online, which I didn't really want to do, because I didn't want to jump into a game that had been out for nearly a year and that had a reputation for having DLC guns that were just absolutely monstrous and ridiculous, right? But it turns out that wasn't even the worst part. I'd not even contemplated just how insane the aim assist was going to be. So when I played that game with him and I was using mouse and keyboard, I couldn't win a gunfight. I couldn't. Like, I was getting numbers that I've never got on COD in my history of playing it, and if I'd have plugged in a controller, I would have done a lot better. But my time with using controller is over because I don't want to use it anymore. That's why I've moved to PC. and my PC now is good enough to play all these games so that I don't need to emulate PC on mouse and keyboard on controller anymore, which is a really nice thing because it's just so much more fun for me. But when I played that experience, guys, and I came up against those guns where I got on target first, I was shooting them in the head, I had good aim, and I still lost. Like, it really opened my eyes, and I never even expected it. And I'm talking about this topic quite a lot now because, of course, Modern Warfare's cross-platform. So there's no pretense anymore, guys. We're having people on console, on controller, taking on people on PC, on mouse and keyboard. And the impression and the illusion at the moment is that all these console guys want to turn crossplay off because they're going to get destroyed by PC people. But the reality couldn't be more different, guys. And I know this sounds crazy, and I know you're already thinking, this guy's full of shit, this is a lie, he's just trying to make us turn it on so we can get stomped by shrouds. Trust me, guys. A really good mouse and keyboard player is going to lose to an average controller user because the controller user's aim assist is so high and cranked so ridiculously that they don't miss bullets. And there's nothing more humbling than having good aim on mouse and keyboard, going into a multiplayer game and getting shit on by somebody who gets no recoil, who lands every bullet while you're sliding and jumping, tracks you perfectly within human aim, and then after you die you realise that wasn't a guy who's a god on PC, that was a pleb on a controller. And that's the reality that people seem to have no idea about. And biggest piece of advice I can give you guys, if you want easier games on Modern Warfare, turn crossplay on. And when you see a mouse on that lobby system, lick your lips, because you're going to have a good game. And I don't care if it's Syrian or Nate Gibson, you're going to have a good game. Because I've watched those guys stream and they have some of the best aim I've ever seen, and they were getting shit on by Tommy No Thumbs, and it was tragic. But this is the end of the walkthrough, guys. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed the tangents and me shouting about Modern Warfare. I hope the stutters weren't too bad. This segment here is all about luck. I like to zigzag back and forth to try and dodge bullets because I'm a master craftsman when it comes to riding rubber dinghies. And if you die, it's up to the game. So you want to just hopefully not get shot too much, don't die too much, hit those checkpoints and get on with it. It's a really fun whitewater raft ride kind of segment. And then it leads to this moment, which is really funny. He's like, hold it steady for like 40 minutes. Just shoot, Price, what are you doing? And then it goes to the final bit, where we do the cinematic ending of Modern Warfare 2 on Veteran. The next project you're going to see on the channel, guys, is up in the air. I'm not too sure what it's going to be. Hopefully it's something good. And now, all that's left to be done is the cinematic moment with the cutscene, where we get to see some exposition and we get to listen to some awesome music. And this is a surprisingly emotional moment for the game. Oh, this is me changing the FOV, but you'll notice this is classed as a cutscene, so it doesn't work. So I'm forced to use this very close FOV, but it's not a problem. All you have to do is track down Shepard, and then you're going to get into a sequence of events with Shepard. How did you find this ending? I feel like it was pretty good. Like, when I first did it, I felt a bit anticlimactic, but coming back to it, this is funny too, because I don't think you're meant to be able to get this fast to him. I don't really understand, and like I'm trying to slash him, and he's trying to get to his trigger so that he can counter me. But look, I hit him then. Technically, I just won. I slashed his arm, he couldn't do any of this, because he just got stabbed, but the game had none of it. I love doing shit like that, you know, trying to ruin the scripting. That shit's really fun. And then Shepard gives us his little bit of exposition. Lance Henriksen has such a good voice, man. It's interesting though, isn't it? How much I've come to really appreciate Modern Warfare 2. I hope I come to appreciate Modern Warfare the same. I hope there comes a time when I like look back on it and I realise that there was more going on there than I appreciated it in the first time. Here we go. Now you've got to climb along for the revolver, which involves pressing the mouse buttons, which is kind of unusual. as Price fights to the death with a general who is apparently pretty good at fighting, which I always find to be quite interesting. I know he's the bad guy, and because he's the bad guy, he's got to be capable, because you can't just have Price, who's a crazy super special forces dude, just kick his ass. They want to build tension, they want to build drama. So they've got this whole situation going on, where you've got to pull the knife out yourself and throw it. This is the type of stuff that's aged probably a lot more than it would now. I feel like if they did this now, some of the choreography and some of the sound effects would probably be a bit more intense, a bit more heavy hitting. It does look a little bit like they're pillar fighting. I can't remember if we're playing as Roach here or Soap. I think we might be playing as Soap on this part. It's just such an interesting moment, isn't it? It's ridiculous, it's stupid, but it's epic. Spins the knife, and then this is the lowest sensitivity in the history of sensitivities. Look at that shit. I play on 1800 DPI for people wondering, and I slid my mouse then about 7 times to turn, what was that? 1.5 meters? Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and you take care now.